So welcome everybody. Wishing you love, light and abundance in every aspect. And first of all, if you're there, Aaron, would you be able to unmute yourself and go ahead and ask any question you wish? Oh, there we go. Aaron, are you there?
Good morning. Yeah, I'm here. Still juicing right now this morning, so I didn't really have too much of a question initially. Got some things I want to just say, but I'm going to finish juicing, so I'll just watch quietly. So hello,
Okay.
everybody. Love you all. Glad to be here.
Beautiful. Well, we'll come back round to you, brother. Enjoy the juicing, and we'll speak to you very soon.
Thank you. Blessings.
Blessings, brother. Angel in Hawaii, love. How are you today? And welcome.
Aloha, Josh, and family, bro stars and sisters. I'm just so grateful to be here with you all today. I've felt every single one of yours energy throughout this, and it's just been such a blessing. Should I turn my video on or just keep it off? Is that good?
It would be lovely to see you if you are able to. That would be wonderful.
Let's see. Okay. It's asking permission.
You do have the permission. I'll ask you to start a video. It says that.
And I say, okay. Oh, it just says unable. I'm not sure why, but that's okay.
Okay.
So the question that I have for you, Josh, is if we feel like we need more healing than the 20 days of juicing the mono fruits, can we, after the 3 days of the water fast, go back to another 20 days of just the mono fruits?
Absolutely. It's a wonderful thing to be juicing. It takes away all of that fiber, allows the digestive system to just rest, and sometimes just even thinking about the food may bring back memories. But as you actually try to process eating it again, you kind of really feel comfortable with the digestive system as it is. So to continue the fast is definitely a good thing if you're looking for continual healing. And we have people sometimes who want to stay on it for maybe 8 months, and then they sometimes break a fast with the odd smoothie or the papaya or something like this, and they find themselves having spontaneous kundalini awakenings and third eye, let's say sensory perceptions that are coming into their body, and they start to have this intuition and telepathy. So it's just something that really does come with that clean system. We can find other avenues and create these neuro pathways ourselves, but it is a great thing to do. So yes, I would definitely say if you are up for the challenge, then continue to heal yourself and rebalance everything inside of you. Okay,
and you said 90 days I could go?
Easily. I would say a water fast, you're safe to do it for about 40 days without any sort of guidance as such, just yourself. Just on distilled water. And then juice fasting, you can do this as long as you wish, but you might find you just want some subtle food inside of you now and again, and it's okay to do so. So you break your fast.
So just to clarify, I could keep this as a lifestyle on the fruit and then just once in a while eat some fruit if I wanted, or some cooked potatoes or something like that.
Yeah. Just know that you're obviously going to feel the density of the material you're putting inside your body. So if you do go from a juice fast this long like you have, and you put a potato in you, you're really going to feel the effects of what potatoes actually do to us with that sensitivity. So it's always good to try and break it with the fruit. But again, you may feel a bit of discomfort in your stomach from a potato, but if it's what you're seeking, it's not going to cause you really any harm. And then it just put you back on track.
Okay, that you answered exactly what I wanted to know. I'll wait around for another question again in this episodes with you, but I would love to share something with you and everyone.
Please
something
share.
that the
Please
shamans
we would love to hear it right now. Go, please.
Something that the shamans taught me, because I've done such deep Dark Nights of the Soul healing with shamans in Costa Rica and in other places. And I've just never done a long fast before. So this is all new for me. And when our bodies are purging, normally with the bathroom, the toilet area, they taught me to bless it because it's normally trauma coming out of us. And I did what they said and all of that, and I understood it. But through this fasting is when I really felt the power of it, because I felt things coming out of me. I'm in my 50s and I felt things coming out of me since I was like a child. And they would come in the toilet and I would look at it and I would say, I bless you, as I flushed it down. And I just wanted to share that with people, that that's another thing that we can add into this beautiful spiritual journey of going into ourselves. So that's it. That's all
and
I wanted to
you've
share.
been predominantly, plant-based and raw on and off for most of your life, haven't you?
Yeah, well, only for the last 20 years, maybe 25 years.
Wow.
Yeah. But I never did fruit because I was into the bodybuilding.
Yeah.
And I was taught you never put a piece of fruit in your body. So this whole fruit thing is just, it's blessed my life. I have never felt this good in my entire life. And you were the answer to my prayers, because in my 50s, I finally said, God, what is it that I'm missing? I never feel good, even being raw, even being vegan, even being plant-based, even just eating like so holistic.
Yeah.
And I never felt good. And then all of a sudden you came in and it was like, fruits? What? Really? And so I started doing it maybe a good month or two before we started this, when I first heard about you, and just started with watermelons, eating a few watermelons a day, papayas, mangoes, pineapples, bananas, and did that for a couple months, and then knew I was ready for this. And I literally believe in it now. Every word that you're speaking, that God put these fruits with these seeds for us. And it's proof now. It's proof.
Body bliss. It's body bliss you feel from having this true food for us. It just cleans the system in such a way that we can actually, if we're sensitive enough and we are quiet in the same sentence, that we feel this subtle vibration within us, and that's just pure bliss coming from our essence.
Yes.
Yeah.
And bliss with, let's not get it twisted, bliss with a lot of shadows coming up, because they're coming out of us, right? They're coming out of me, things I've been holding in my probably blood and, every tissue and all of that. And so, yes, there's bliss. And then there's moments where you're doing your breathing going, I can get through this, because this finally is not something bad. This is something good. So.
Pleasure.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you. Thank you. And I love everyone. Just know I love you all out there, and we're going to do this. We're doing this. It's not even we're doing this.
This is the beginning of the end of the beginning.
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Josh. Bless everybody. Thank you.
Have a wonderful day, sister.
You too.
Austin, are you there, brother?
Hey, Josh. That's me too. I'm on my phone. I don't have a camera, so I'm on twice just to have video.
Good day to you.
So, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Very well.
Well, thanks for having us. I just have a couple quick questions. I was curious, are we allowed to have like raw, unfiltered honey during this fast?
Personally, I would say it wouldn't give you any benefit as such. And I would stick to the food that doesn't need any sort of digestion or the enzymes as such. The honey, personally, for me is a product for the bees that they're saving for themselves, and how they produce it. It goes through the body, and it's like the mucus or what they spit out. And I don't really consume it. I don't feel good when I do. If I did consume it previously, maybe 7 years ago, as a part of this transition, I felt like I needed to move away from it as a part of the natural process of being sensitive. So if you wanted my advice, I would say no. Would it be for a hot drink, or what would you be using it for?
Yeah, like in tea or something.
You know, if you warm up orange juice itself, and you put maybe some lemon and some coriander juice in there, you'll find that that can be a really satiating warm tea or a warm drink. And that'll give you some nice sort of benefits if you're looking for something warm. Try not to boil it, just warm it up. And then obviously we're going to get the terpenes out of the coriander or the basil, whatever you choose to put in, via the juicing of that herb. That would be the best.
Oh, okay, thank you. The other question is just, we were just talking about like the shadows coming up and the emotional stuff. I just want to know if you had any advice on, I know breath work is one of them, but do you have any advice just for dealing with kind of the emotional stuff? I feel like I'm ready, like I'm about to break through, but I feel like there's like this density still, and I'm wanting to break through. So I was hoping you could speak into that.
Yeah, so what it is now is about separating the egoic mind and finding this self. And I like to use the words recognize, because it's to recognize, and this cognitive function is how we basically fire from one side or the other as such. So if you start to see that these emotions or these thoughts are not actually you, and they're not a part of this true self, these are just natural flows or waves of this information that's coming past your being, and realize that you're actually the one observing these things. And in that moment of observing, separate your true self and watch everything in that dimension. And then you'll see that it's only the attachment and your belief in that thought that creates this emotion in the body. And then you can become free, but it's not something that will illuminate you overnight. This is how we recognize ourselves, by becoming a master from the left and the right. And we merge this material mind with the spiritual mind. And then what we do is we don't allow the material mind to control us or dominate us anymore. And in a sense, this spiritual self comes through with this non-judgmental, non-thought aspect, where we can truly be ourself. Our self is unaffected by anything. It sits and watches. This is where we need to come from. So always try to remember, if you feel something or you're thinking something, in that moment, just stop. Look at your hands and remember that you're in control of this vessel, but you are the observer from this vessel. And you're here with this play of consciousness, and it just dances. Just be the director of this dance and start to gain control of these things, and you're free. You already are free. It's just the identity crisis that we have. And these things are the hardest thing that we ever have to do and tackle. But it is this, and doing this, we will find freedom.
Thank you. Final question. I'm getting skinny. I'm losing weight. I'm after the fast, I'm planning on, going mostly raw and continuing to transition into the fruitarian lifestyle. But I wanted to know advice for like putting on more weight, either now or after the fast is done.
Would you say you're losing muscle mass, or would you just say you're losing water retention and fat as such?
Yeah, probably just, I'm telling myself it's just old toxic cells that I'm losing, but I can see it in my body and face, and people around me are like, "Oh, you're getting skinny." My family's worried about me.
Of course.
I'm obviously nothing to worry about, I tell them, but I would like to put on the more weight, and I was wondering how to go about that.
So a lot of us have been used to looking at people for the past 100 years who've had this subtle layer of meatiness or chemicals or this toxicity around our body. I think it's important to know that we're not really supposed to carry this extra fat as, healthy beings as such. And if you're looking to not feel so skinny or look so skinny, it's actually do some resistance training, or something like this, because this will build muscle mass quite easily. And unless you have, for example, like your abdominal showing, you've got like a ripped stomach, then you won't get any leaner than this as such. It's just how your body should look in a pure state. And then consuming a certain amount of food will allow your body to grow a certain amount of size. So if you're looking to gain a certain amount of size, the intake of the fuel that you put into your system has to be of a certain amount to feed the muscle tissue that you're trying to grow. So if you want a good body, you just need to really do some exercises as such, and resistance ones. But we will be doing this as a part of our group. We're going to be doing the Kriya Yoga next month as a group, precipitant, like the juice fast we're doing. And then we're going to put the videos out so everybody can try to start doing this yoga, where it allows basically the nerve endings to be stretched and to be able to be start to refire and be alive where they should be, where they may be lying dormant. And it creates a vessel that can handle a higher charge. And then we're all going to learn to activate this system within us over the course of maybe the next 6 months. But resistance is the way for you. If you want, you have to hit the gym or start doing the pull-ups, the press-ups, the sit-ups, the squats, things like this, and then just grow with the body. It will grow fast. And if you are lean, then you will see it change. But if most people are used to seeing you carry a bit of excess weight, then it's just their own lack of understanding of what's going on with your geometry.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for the answers. I'm going to pass it off to the next person. Appreciate it.
You, brother. You take care. Speak to you soon. Charlotte Froome. Good day, sister. How are you? I can't hear you at this moment.
Oh, you
there okay. We go. There we go.
Yeah. So, yeah, this has been an amazing journey. I cannot thank you and the group enough. I've learned so much. Just I don't react much in the Telegram, but I read a lot of it, and it's amazing, and we learned so much. And you have taught me. I thought I was a health nut person till everything I learned I had to relearn, just like everything.
Yeah.
But I have a really quick question on when we go into the water fast on the 21st, right? The 21st through the 23rd.
Yeah.
Do we just use water, or can we use lemon in the water?
I would abstain from lemon if you can, and just use the water. And if you use the distilled water, then that's going to carry sort of no elements in it. It's going to be a free water as such, and that water will go into the system and it will attach to all the minerals that don't need to be there, especially if people have, I call it achy wrists, but it's actually, what's the word? I've forgotten. Arthritis. Because I changed all the words around because diabetes through idiocy. I tried to find the words sometimes and they get lost, but so that type of thing there is going to allow the system to be able to pick things up within the body and then drop them off and excrete them, and that's how we need to be. So that's the best thing you can do.
Oh, okay, awesome. And one other quick question. I know you said we could do the cannabis tea. Are we allowed to puff a little, or no? We shouldn't, because we've been abstaining, but
if you've been abstaining, that's good. It's just to gain control over these things that we may not have control over. So it is good to fast from things like that, but again, it's something that's non-toxic for human consumption. It gets absorbed in the lungs rather than stay there. There's no lung damage caused with this. So if it's something that you're choosing to do at that particular time and you have full mastery over it, then you've basically conquered that demon, and you need not longer fast.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I don't do it every day. Just once in a while, I like to, it helps me get in the zone. Yeah. Okay, awesome. And I just want to say I am so excited to come down to Portugal and be a part of your community. Really looking forward to it.
Yes. We're very much looking forward to this wonderful space to be created, and over the next year, I think everything's going to flow organically, and it's going to be a wonderful experience for us.
Absolutely. Yes.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you so much for your support and love.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Have a wonderful day, sister. Is that everything you wanted to ask today, or?
That's everything. I'm
Yeah.
good. I'm good. I'll pass on to someone else.
Beautiful. Well, take care. Have a lovely day, guys.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Okay. And Ben, are you there, brother? Brother Ben. There we go. Good day, brother. How are you?
Good, Josh. Very well, thank you.
Lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you too. This is very surreal for me. I've watched basically all of your videos with Charlie and of course with Eloise. Those round tables were amazing videos, and then very life changing as is this experience as well.
Beautiful.
I'm so grateful for you and the effort that you're putting into this and globally what you do for everybody. It's just so inspirational.
Thank you.
I can't say enough. And really, I didn't come on. I came on to kind of just listen. I didn't have a specific question for you, but certainly my first interaction with you wanted to express my appreciation for what all you're doing here.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Is there anything you would like to ask, or?
The range of categories that you offer to discuss in your email is very widespread, and it's everything from the minutia to the grand. Just a little quickly background history here. My awakening just happened last January in all regards to what's going on here globally and spiritually and historically. And I've learned more in this last year than I knew in my years previous, and it's been very enlightening and challenging, but very rewarding as well. So I've come to the understanding with Charlie and others as well that the plane that we live on is flat, for example. And then looking above at the moon, I've always kind of questioned about whether what the purpose of the moon, the shape of the moon, whether it apparently, from what I'm learning from some sources, it wasn't always there, but is now, and heard that it might be a satellite, other things as well, and then the stars, whether they're actually reachable or they're simply astrological, part of the dome that surrounds us, the firmament, and whether it's actually something that can be reached in terms of getting to. Do you have insights or any information you can give me, or?
Yeah, I would say the stars themselves are just sine waves. This is why when you look at them, they flicker from red to blue in such a way. So they're more of sonoluminescent. So there are vibrations visible from where we are. If you reach a certain level, the stars disappear. So they're not really there as such. This is all a part of sonoluminescent sound frequency and vibration manifest. And this is where we're projected from, the stars. They say you're a star or these things. That star is basically a part of the system, and this projects a frequency down, and it works in harmony with the sun. The sun is this Ra, which is the seven colors of this incandescent light that we experience here. So all of this works in harmony for the illusion of energy manifest in a physical body to vibrate in such a way that it can be visible and interacted with via consciousness. And I would say that the moon itself is basically the opposite of the sun. So as one side of a torus is manifest, the other must come in. And I would say it's of a satellite by nature, because the way that it works, it doesn't have its own geometry. It doesn't flow around on its own. It's carried by the sun. So as the sun passes the moon, I'll do it this way around. This is the plane. As the sun goes around, it pulls the moon slightly back, and as it transits, it pulls the moon forward. And then it does this, back and forward. And then this creates that 28-day cycle. So if you study the moon, which I've had a lot of time to do when I was in being a lot in nature, and just observe, especially in Spain, the moon is in a different position in the UK, and it was really obvious and clear, and you could see the moon going back and then forwards and then be carried and stop, and then it stays until the next day once it slows down. So really, the moon itself, again, is more of a projection as such, but it's carried by the energy. So it's solar luminescence, energy, frequency, and vibration manifest, and it just works absolutely perfect because it is consciousness expressing itself for this creative force, and nothing but.
Very good. Thank you very much. That's amazing. Thank you.
I hope that makes sense.
Yes, I will listen to it again and continue to digest. Yes.
Yeah, remember that the moon is cold light and the sun is hot light,
It's
and
hot light.
yeah, it creates this wonderful balance.
Fantastic.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your love and support, brother.
Yes, and hello to everybody watching. I'm loving the Telegram. I don't participate as much as I'd like, but it's an amazing avenue to interact with people. It's been amazing. Great people. So hello to everybody.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Brother. Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for coming on, brother. You take care.
My pleasure. You too. Thank you.
All right. Emily Ward, are you there, sister?
I'm here.
Good day to you, sister. How are you?
Fantastic. Just like you.
Oh, beautiful. Lovely to meet you.
Thank you.
How may I help? Is there anything you'd like to ask?
Well, I think I'm doing pretty well. I guess I haven't been able to follow the Telegram quite as fast. I've had a little busy week taking care of my granddaughter, but I'm speculating that we need to juice about 3 times a day or 4. How many times are you recommending? I may have missed that.
It really depends on where you started. Have you been doing it since the 1st, or is it something that's started now?
I started December 1st.
December 1st. So as you progress into this, you'll find that once your glycogen stores suffice, that you can just drink it as and when you need. But remember, as the fast energy source that this glucose is, that it may dip. So just kind of be aware of what energy load you're basically putting out, and just listen to your body. So I would say, you could be fine on 3 to 4 juices a day at 750 ml, even 500 ml at this present time, and then consume water either side of those things to keep your belly full if you feel like you need a sort of a satiation inside to stop you having cravings. But if you feel like you need to drink now, it's at that stage where you should drink, and if you feel like you don't, you can listen to the body and sort of fast from juice.
Okay. Most of the time, I think 3 times a day is working out pretty well for me.
Yeah.
So, okay. That sounds great. And then when we get to the water fast, how much water should we plan to drink per day? Or does it depend on your body?
Yeah, really, you're going to be very hydrated through this fast, and you may feel like that you don't necessarily want to consume as much water as you have been doing juice, but it is good and is used to flush all the excess minerals and toxins out. And when we do start this water fast, straight away, our body just releases a massive amount of water and sodium that's been stored, and it really starts and finishes the cleanse that we've been doing. So maybe just 1, 2, possibly 3 vessels a day. So between 1 and 2 liters would be more than enough for most people. But if you're in a hot climate right now, then you might want to up it to 3.
Okay, excellent. If I do not have a distiller, should I buy distilled water and then run that through my filtration system at home or not?
I wouldn't run it through a filtration system if it's been distilled, unless you have does it add any minerals back in your system, or is it?
No, actually it takes out toxins is what it adds nothing back into. It's a water pitcher that takes out all all the pesticides and chemicals.
Yeah, then maybe you could just put it through to get any plastic residue out and then consume
Okay.
that. Yeah. If you do have a
Okay.
copper vessel or a little silver spoon or something, that would be good to try and give it that negative pull to it.
Okay.
If not, distilled water is still going to be very beneficial for you.
Okay. I have the silver spoon and I also have a copper bottle as well. So I'm in good shape there.
Beautiful. Store it in the copper vessel for 6 to 8 hours and then pour it in the glass, keep it in there, and then just use that whenever you're thirsty, ready, or you want to hydrate.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you so much.
Well,
This
thank
is
you so
fantastic.
much. Lovely to meet you, and thank you so much for your support, sister.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
You do the same.
Take care. Gail, are you there, sister?
Hello, can you hear me, Josh?
Yeah, good day to both of you. How are you?
We are so thankful to have found you. My husband, Steve, is the one that found you with Charlie. We watch every single episode, and I just printed out your book so I could have it in the kitchen after all the fasting. So grateful. So just want to really thank you for everything.
Thank you.
For all that you do, Josh. We really appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Sometime in the future, we have a daughter that's on Hawaii with her family. And so we're looking at moving there. And we're so resonating because she has the same thoughts and on the same path as you. So we really resonate with everything. And so we would love to go there and create the fruit forest and community.
Yeah.
And she's had her dreams of doing retreats for people. She started a cannabis business. That's what she does now.
Oh, wow.
There. Yeah. So really, at some point, we'd love to connect even further with you. But just for now, since we're on here, a couple of questions that have resonated with me is the grounding to the earth. And we've learned about how our shoes now have become rubber. Every time you go look for shoes, everything has rubber on it.
Yeah.
So we're not grounding. So are there, because in certain aspects we need to wear shoes.
Yeah.
To go places on the concrete. Do you have anything to say about that?
Well, the concrete itself is like a non-resonator as well. That's probably why they called it the concrete. But cork is the best resonator that we can use. So the old shoes used to be made of cork. So if we can find ourselves having shoes that have the cork soles as such, or even just open top shoes that have cork bottoms, that's going to be the best thing to be walking with. But if you look at the word trainer as well, the T represents this physical and the reins. So to rein a child is to hold it back, and the trainer itself is holding back the physical. And in the same aspect, if you train someone via their left brain, it's just repetition, which basically separates them from the right side, and they don't actually become creative or have this flow. So it is all intertwined like that. And really, if we just go back in the garden most days and just spend, at least 15 minutes a day, we can discharge and reciprocate with the earth. But the true reason in doing that is because we are electric and positively charged. And this earth is obviously the earth that grounds the electric charge to allow it to be recharged like an electrical circuit.
Okay, very good. And then just one other thing that I'm hoping for is that we can hear more stories from other people, success stories at the end of all this. We just love hearing those because I speak with so many people on a daily basis about their troubles, their illnesses, and if I can hear the success stories of others, it just confirms for them their possibility.
Yeah, definitely. I that's one thing that previous to this, I literally spent like 3 years driving to and from people and just helping people on that basis, and camping outside their house and helping prepare food and showing them how to do it and healing people that way. And where I found the truth, that was just healing people that are ready to die, or they've been told they have weeks to live and now they're living, when you know they got children to look after and it's just a mother. And it's been one of the things that I never really held on to, because it was just in the moment and I wasn't keeping logs of things. But now it is something that we need to do. I'm creating a wonderful website at the moment. It should be live by the 15th of January. And that's going to be able to, we're going to put all of these love stories on there and how people have just spontaneously healed and activated their higher senses. There's going to be a bridge for people to communicate. For example, if you're in Hawaii, there'll be a forum under Hawaii and people can talk to each other, where they can find community, or they can work together, sell their houses and, you know, get to a space. There'll be much occult information on there, how to activate your higher senses, raise the kundalini, the food, the medicine, just the whole holistic inner standing is going to be on this website. And then as we progress from the 15th, we're trying now, but it's not going to be done in time, to create a platform where artists as such can get off YouTube, and then they can upload the videos under the bracket of this X family, where we can all become the balance that we need to be. And yeah, try and have it as a wonderful community for so many people just searching for this light.
Nice,
Well, that's
beautiful.
great. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and great questions, and lovely lights. Thanks for the support.
You too, Josh. Thank you for
Love
all
you.
that you do. We love you all.
You take care.
You too. Thank you.
Gary, are you there, brother?
Yes, I am.
Good day to you, brother Gary. How are you?
Hello, Josh and X family. Blessings to you all.
Lovely to meet you.
You answered part of my question when with Austin's last question that he had asked about losing weight. I'd like you maybe to add a little bit to that, but let me give you a few more facts of myself. I'm a cancer patient. I had prostate cancer, and I kind of let it go a little bit too far before I tried getting any kind of help on that. Anyhow, my prostate was removed back in March of this year, as well as the seminal vesicles and the lymph nodes in that area. And I just went through 37 radiation treatments as well. And so hopefully it's completely gone there. And I've been working. I started December 1st with a fast. But I've lost so much weight even before I had started the fast. I was down to 122 pounds then. I'm 5'9", so I should be weighing at least 135 pounds. I've always had a fast metabolism. Back in my youth, I weighed about 135 to 140 pounds, and I could eat anything. It would just go right on through me. I'd always stay at that same weight. So anyhow, when I started the fast, December 1st, I was at 122 pounds. And as I kept on going through the fast, I got up to the 10th day and I got down to 116 pounds. So I was really concerned about my weight. I mean, I'm skin and bones right now. And it's mainly, well, I guess whatever little bit of fat I had on me went. And I could tell that the muscle mass is gone as well. Because of the prostate, the surgery and everything else, I'm up, I can't hold very much in my bladder, and I'm up probably 5 times a night taking the leak. So fortunately, I can get right back to sleep. So I've been keeping an eye on my glucose levels, and they've been a little on the high side, about 108 and so forth, after fasting, and then a couple hours after overnight, basically, I would lose, I might be 122 pounds during the daytime while I'm doing the juice fast. And then overnight, when I weigh myself in the morning, I'm down to 116 pounds. So I'm losing, 6 pounds basically overnight, just I guess peeing out and so forth.
Yeah.
So anyhow, my question is, I kind of broke my fast after the 10 days. I went back to smoothies.
Yeah.
And I started eating a little bit of raw foods like cucumbers and so forth.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling better. I'm starting to put a little bit more weight on. Oh, and during this whole time too, that I have been doing a little bit of exercises, some push-ups, sit-ups, deep V bends and so forth. Trying to get that glucose to go to the muscles and start building it up, but my weight kept going down. So anyhow, I don't know where to go from here.
Yes. If you think about the digestive tract and how much matter it can hold, that will be quite a significant amount of weight that you would see that your body's losing if you are watching the scales as such. So when we do begin this fast, we're obviously losing probably up to like 5 kilos of matter that's been stored there as such, depending on what we ate previous. And then going forward into the juice fast, like you're saying, you're going to be holding on to possibly 2-3 liters of water during the night time. Then it's going to be excreted. So that is the weight loss. So truly, when you were consuming food, you could probably add a few pounds to the weight that you were. Maybe you said you're 116 and then you were 122. Is that right?
I used to be throughout the day, my weight would go back up, and I'm assuming it was just mainly from all of the juices I'm drinking.
Yeah.
But it would drop overnight. Basically, I wake up in the morning and I got down to 116 pounds. I mean, before it would drop down at the beginning of the fast, it would drop down to 2 or 3 pounds, and as the days went on, it just kept going. My weight, my base weight that I've been doing is basically in the morning when I got up before I started drinking any more juices. So I figured taking it during the daytime, I still have a lot of the liquid in me, so it would vary.
Are you? Then you say you're very lean. You don't have any body fat anymore at all, really?
Oh no, I never really had any body fat. I've always been lean.
Yeah. Okay. And what was your previous diet before you done this?
Pretty much, I did since my radiation treatments. It was about maybe 2 or 3 weeks before starting the fast. I went to basically just smoothies.
Yeah.
So I've been, no, I wasn't eating anything else, and no cooked food or whatever, just smoothies, orange juice and bananas.
And before the change in your diet, were you?
I didn't eat any, for many months before. I live on the water. We have a boat behind the house, so we catch our own fish, and we ate quite a bit of fish. And I would have chicken, but that was about it. No red meat. I haven't had red meat for over a year.
Sometimes the malabsorption comes from having certain parasites within the body as well. So you can be putting food into the body, and then these parasites are consuming it. And if there's no minerals or absorption going into the system, then we can not put on weight as such. We have malabsorption, and then you might be overrun with candida, which is obviously what's happened because cancer is this candida. So the candida inside was consuming all the dead matter. But that's really what the malabsorption is. So I would say in the situation that you're in right now, what you need to do is build up the bacteria inside the stomach, which is the good bacteria, which is going to allow the minerals to be absorbed in the body. And just keep doing the light exercises that you're doing. So try to consume the softest fruits you can get that's available to you right now. I don't know if you're going to have like pears or plums or peaches, nectarines, even things like pineapple, mangoes, papaya, these types of things. If you can just consume them, and just remember that your muscles don't really want to grow naturally, because if they're not having to put themselves under a load, it's quite inefficient for the body to then create a muscle mass that needs to be fed. So once you've built this muscle mass and you're continually using this mass, just keep the food to a certain level and you find yourself, you won't be shrinking down. But naturally, if you're not picking up things that are heavy and you're not doing these type of things anymore, the muscles won't grow unless you force them to. So the ideal weight is for the average man as such, and the average man consumes grains, rice, chicken, dairy, eggs, small amount of vegetable, and the tiniest bit of fruit. So they're used to having this excess waste around the body, the water retention from having the inflammation and things like this. So it's not something you really need to worry about. To me, you look really healthy as such. Your face, you don't carry any excess weight, but it doesn't look skinny. It looks fine. And having a small bone structure as such is just something that may have come with less density from consuming meat and dairy, because over time it does cause this metabolic acidosis that depletes the minerals from our bones. So it just causes us to be a little bit lighter. Give it time. Just know that everything that you're putting into your body is going to ferment in a way that the absorption can happen within the bacteria, and just give it maybe a month having the soft fruits and the smoothies, and you will have to consume more than you do and work out slightly, or put some intensity onto the muscles to make them grow. Or you could just accept the fact that you are as you are right now, and you're healthy and happy and you're healing, and just play it by ear and go from your internal compass.
Okay, great. I appreciate that.
Well done, though. Well done. And we send love and healing out to you, brother. And I know that you'll be absolutely 100% fine, because this is the only food that we should be consuming for that to be perfect for us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on. Speak to you soon. iPhone. Are you there, iPhone? We'll come back to you. Sandy. Are you there, Sister Sandy?
Yes, I'm here. Hi, everybody. A real blessing to be in the group.
I think we've got two people talking at the same time. I called Sandy.
We have
Shanti, we'll come to you next, all right, sister? Sandy, how are you, sister? You look very well, may I add?
Thank you, brother. So as far as questions, I didn't make it on last week, but listened to the question and answer recording. I'm wondering, we're saying to limit the time in the copper bottles. I didn't know that before, and I was just leaving it in there till I drank it.
Yeah.
I read an article one time that we could get copper toxicity from eating too many avocados because they're high in copper, and it throws off the zinc copper ratio. That's just probably scientific construct, but I'm curious your thoughts on it.
Okay, so we have a very uneducated medical system, as you're very aware. And what these doctors are doing is they're not taking into any type of consideration that the people that they're testing for these copper deficiencies or the increased amount of copper in the system, are they plant-based? Are they holistic? Do they have a fruit diet? And the answer is no. So these abnormalities are from, the government water, the food, the pesticides, all these things that they're putting into their system, which is creating the imbalance. So the electrical signals aren't being sent properly via the nerve endings, and then they're blaming it on certain fruits and vegetables that have high copper content. But there's one thing that's absorbable copper, and that's within the tissue or the skin of these wonderful fruits and vegetables. And there's one thing is inabsorbable, which gets basically put around the system and clogs up our internal dimensions, and that's not what we want to be consuming. And that's where we get the hearsay, the spreaders of this hearsay and untruth, which creates this internal panic when we don't really, understand the workings. But it is absolutely fine. All these fruits and vegetables are bioavailable, and our body can absorb them. If we don't absorb them at a particular time and we're full, this is why urine, it has all these minerals in it, and there's a big thing about most people in this truth movement are precipitating in consuming urine therapy as such to try and aid their self-healing, but really it's just excess minerals that the body doesn't want at that particular time.
Okay, well, that was another question I had. There's been a lot of discussion about urine being the water of life and consuming urine therapy. So
For drinking
So-
from your own well in the Bible, there was governments. Governments have been there for a very, very long time. When man is not able to govern himself, these things are put into place. And there's always been a system of pain body. So what we have is, if you're giving yourself away as such, you're not utilizing yourself or God or the creation, and you're going to a service, these waters are not trusted. So this is why the Bible said, drink from your own well. It means drink from your own water source, because you can't trust external water sources. I don't translate that as drink from your wee, because for me, the fruits carry this wonderful charge. They are pure plasma, they're light, they're information, and your urine is basically an excretion of what's not necessarily needed. It's not toxic waste, that comes out the other one. But yeah, it's what's not needed at that time.
So as far as nighttime urination, I heard one time that the reason we have to go at night is because that's when our body detoxifies, and it's the toxins in the urine irritating the bladder wall that makes us want to get up and empty it.
No. The urine is completely clean. It never has any toxins in it. It's just literally excess minerals and amino acids that the body's not absorbed at that particular time, that it doesn't need, and it flushes them out. And you may find, as the water itself, that distilled water attaches to these minerals that aren't needed in the body, they get flushed out through the system. Obviously, if we're consuming a lot of these minerals and they start to calcify within the body, this is how we get the gallstones and things like this. It's over mineralization from modern day water and modern day chemically induced food.
So what about nighttime urination? Why do some people have a lot of it and other people not have much?
I would say it's all dependent on the physiology and the workload that each individual has. So if one's drank a lot of fluids within the day, or they're consuming salt as such at any particular time. So when we have salt, we retain the water. If you don't have salt, we lose the water. So if someone's had salt at a particular time in the evening, then the water that they consume through the day will be retained. And then as the salt starts to work its way through the system, then the system is going to flush. So there's so many different avenues that can create this individual sensation or what's going on within the body, that it really needs to be looked at on that individual level. But I would say salt intake and obviously the amount of water we're taking at that particular time will make a massive difference. And then if you don't have salt and you're having water, and you have water for maybe the last 4 hours of the evening, your body will naturally dump water. So yeah, it's all independent really. Our body does a good job there.
So if we have a copper distiller, do we still need to charge our water in copper vessels then, or the copper distillation already does that?
Yeah, it does that. So if you do have it, you can just leave it in the cup that it collects in and just consume it straight from there.
The glass container.
Yeah.
Okay. As far as other questions on the cannabis, do you ever recommend combining different strains together in a formula, like mixing sativa and indica for special situations, or do you always mono, just one at a time?
You can go to selective breeders, and selective breeders have done that job. They've created this hybrid, which is a sort of a balance of the indica and sativa in different ratios, like a 40-60% or 80-20. So this is why the industry right now is quite good for helping certain different types of ailments, and the practice is really coming into a strength as such for selective issues. But really, I would always recommend that someone uses an indica as such on any healing journey, because sativas can play a role in cerebral stimulation as such, and they can then become very active in their thought. And unless they're ready to challenge it, it might be uncomfortable for them to be healing while having these excess thoughts. But I would say the sativa, it does translate as daytime as such with the Sanskrit terminologies. That's very good for heightening your true self and the words that are spoken to you. So you're going to be revealed a lot of truth with the sativa as such. Your higher self is going to be talking through you rather than the higher self intuitively speaking, and then the ego kind of dominates straight away and says, but what if, this might be the issue, and you shouldn't do this, and that doesn't necessarily happen on the sativa. You kind of work out all of the structures that need to be, and the kinks that need to be ironed out. So it's a great tool. And this is why the scriptures say Solomon had it on his temple, because it was allowing that to be rebuilt. And not only does it not make you dumber, it builds the neurons in the mind. So it helps with the capacity of growth and stimulation, and stops all mind control programming, which is wonderful.
One other question. People have been talking about your book. I know you got it finished. How do we purchase that?
You should have it, and I think I sent it to you yesterday. And if you don't have it, then I will make sure you get it after this call straight away.
Through email?
Yeah, I sent it to your email, I think. And if not, I will send it to you via WhatsApp in an hour after this conversation.
Okay. All right. Very good. I think that's, apple skins. You talked about nutrients being in the skins.
Mm-hmm.
We want to take seeds out of apples, but not peel them.
If they're organic and the source is good, apples are one of the most sprayed crop. So I tend to just peel apples, even if they are organic, because organically approved pesticides are kind of abundant in the organic industry. So if you have access to good apples from a good source, and they're not really sprayed with anything, then yeah, just give them a good wash and then straight in the juicer.
You do take the seeds out though, right? Or
yeah,
not?
Definitely. They just have high levels of arsenic, so you're juicing them, you'll contain the split seeds as such, and then they may leak into the juice.
Okay, that's all I have for now.
Thank you
very
so
much. God bless everybody.
Great to see you again.
You too.
Yelena, are you there, sister?
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes. Good day, sister.
Wonderful. Yeah. Hi. I have a few questions. It's been quite a journey, as it has been for everyone else. First question, how do we know we are candida free at this point?
How do you know? It's a good question. It's a very good question. Your physiology will kind of let you know and how you feel. And if you've kind of gone past the stages of having the outbreaks of the mouth and the thrush, or any agitation within the digestive system.
I didn't have any of that. I only had extreme nausea, which passed as soon as I switched to the juice that you recommended. I switched from oranges to apples, a little bit of lemon, and just a bit of ginger. I only had that once. And since then, I've been having just apple juice. And then I switched to a little bit of pear and pineapple. I couldn't look at oranges up until yesterday. So since yesterday, I can have it once a day, but no more.
Okay. So I would say that the candida is obviously not surviving on anything in the system. For candida issues to heal, this is a progressive thing, and it may take up to 6 weeks. And just to put that into perspective, when you do look at someone who has athlete's foot and it starts to eat away at the tissue, this is what can go on inside of our body with these candida problems. So the candida is not eating or surviving or thriving. And if we continue to do this, we will aid massively in the healing structures of the ailments that have been caused by excessive candida, but it won't be alive now. And if you, for example, if you choose to have, say, potato back in your diet or some cooked food, you will have a small amount of candida present, and that's manageable just by eating holistic and whole, and it won't cause you any issues. But if you, say, choose to have a raw diet with juices and your juice fasting raw, and then once every 7 days you have a potato or something like this, you make the panini or the pizza things that I showed everyone.
Right. That was another question I had, right?
Yeah. Then you might find yourself having like candida then candida die off, then candida, and candida die off. So I'd say if you do want to go into having just the odd cooked food for satiation as a part of your new journey, then just consume it maybe twice a week, so the candida just maintains in the body and it doesn't necessarily die off every week.
Okay. And it's not going to revert us back to where we started.
No,
if we go back and forth, maybe like once or twice a week, just so we have that experience with the family, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And just know that once you try to kill it off, you're basically suffocating it doing this. You're not allowing it to grow. Any cancers and these things are just going to completely eradicate, stop, and they won't grow. And then it just naturally will heal itself with the food. Just, 2-3 times a week, even if you choose to have one potato meal a day, and that potato meal is either like boiled potatoes with nice guacamole, some chives and lemon juice, a nice salad, and then you have the juice, the smoothie, and then another a fruit meal or a smoothie and a juice, you're going to be absolutely fine. But just go careful when you're cutting it out every week, because you may experience candida die off some sort. You'll be, oh, my mouth's sore, and every week you'd find that may be the possibility. Yeah.
Another question. So my husband brought it to my attention that apparently there is a smell developing that is coming from within me. It's not related to teeth. It's just from within.
Yeah.
I don't feel it. I do not sense it. I mean, I do have this sense of hunger, obviously. So I'm thinking maybe it's from the lemon water that I've been drinking in between the juices, because there's only so much juice that I can take down. At this point, I'm drinking about 3 juices, about 500 milliliters a day. I mean, like 3 times a day, about 500 mils.
Okay.
I can't have it anymore.
Are you feeling quite
sweetness
satiated? Yeah, you're feeling quite satiated with it.
Yes, if I have any more, I'm going to be nauseous. So the rest, I'm just drinking water with lemon.
Okay.
Of course, I feel the hunger, but it's not something that I can't deal with.
How's your skin? It looks clear. It looks good. It looks like it's changed since the last time you spoke.
My skin is dry.
Okay.
It's very dry, and my hair is very brittle. And that's going to lead me into the next question, because if you recall, I'm recovering from an underactive thyroid, and I stopped taking my medication. So typically when I would go off my medication before, that would happen. My skin would be very dry, and my hair would be very brittle. So I'm not sure how all of that ties in with the healing process.
And you've been off a week now? Is that right? 7 days?
No, I started from the 1st, and I was pretty much raw for about 2.5 months, ever since I started listening to you and Charlie.
Okay. So for the first, we are on the 11th, 12th, is it the 13th today? It is, yeah.
13th day, yeah.
So the body will naturally have to find a sort of a balance of coming off of these. And you've noticed an increase in skin dryness, because and not hydrating, or is it surface? Is it just like a surface dryness?
It's the surface dryness.
Yeah, and underneath, does it feel quite malleable and hydrated still? And it's just like a small flake?
There is no flake. It's just, I'm looking at it and it's very kind of lifeless. I mean, it's dry.
Oh, okay. Are you using anything like a coconut oil to rub in to try and just keep that hydration there as such, and lock and seal?
No.
Okay. So with this, I would say just watch it just over the next sort of 7 days, and then just review it again, because at this particular time, when you're coming from medication for, it was many years previous?
Yeah, 10 years.
10 years, yeah. That the system is gonna be trying to find this balance. As you come off anything, there's going to be this balance going on within the system. Don't let it progress any worse than it is, and if you do have any concerns, then talk to us again. But for now, I would give it at least 21 days and then just go for like our final review as such. And with the skin, use coconut oil and nothing else if you're trying to hydrate the skin.
Okay.
And you can also put this within the hair to keep it keep the elasticity there. So it may look a little bit greasy as you first put it in, but maybe just do it as a treatment on a Saturday or Sunday or something like that.
That's fine. I mean, we're all quarantining anyway right now. We can't leave the house, so it's okay.
Yeah, just play it really subtly by ear, and every day just really take conscious notes of what's going on within your system, and then just make sure.
Yes. Anything I can do to help with the scent that my husband decided
No, this is
that he
Candida.
is there?
Yeah, we call it Candida.
It's still?
Candida poo, or it's finding its way out. It's not alive, so there's a sort of scent of death as such. If it smells like death, and it'll be working its way out your system, so it will stop. It will go away, and it's only just probably for the next few days. But it
Okay.
does.
I mean, I'm okay with it. It's perfectly fine. It's just my family is ridiculously concerned. Okay. So the next question would be, and I know this is not a perfect science, but just to give me an idea, how long do you think it will take in my case, and maybe this will work for someone else as well, to heal the endocrine system, like for it to reset and for my thyroid to start functioning?
I would always say a 6-week cycle is something that we need to endure to get this balance back within our bodies. Cancers, things like this is always Candida issue. And these are always reversed within 6 weeks. And sometimes you may need certain extended periods of, say, water fasting as such to really take some deep-rooted problems down. But for now, I'd say usually a 6-week on 99% of ailments is what people need to do to really align themselves again.
So once I complete the fast with everyone, do I need to do anything else in terms of, do I need to fast longer? Do I need to be on juices still, or what do I need to do?
If you can just remain like 90% raw, just make it as a healthy lifestyle now, and just consume your juice in the rising with a smoothie, then your lunch, and then a smoothie and a juice, just to maintain your body weight and your satiations as such. And just try not to overeat on the cooked food. Obviously, if you can, raw is going to be better just for the 6 weeks, with juices, smoothies, and that will just keep you wonderful, alkaline, and you should be 100% fine. If you do have access to the cannabis, now that's going to really stimulate and balance the system. So if you can, it's hard because there's obviously most companies that we reach out to, they kind of sell to the shops, and they're so regulated out there now. But cannabis would be the most beneficial thing for you at this stage, to really balance your endocrine system and regulate it. So 100%.
Which strand for this particular ailment?
Which strain? Like a strain, yeah?
Yeah, strain.
Yeah, I would say like a Hindu Kush I would always recommend, something like that, because it's very natural, and it will give you that wonderful relaxation with a great level of the terpenes, and your body, I would say it would just aid you so much. I can't really express it enough. But if you can get hold of that, that is going to regulate homeostasis with your systems, and it'll probably bring you back to speed within the first couple of days. So try to source that. Try to source it, either whether it's a tincture, it's oil, or you're vaporizing it or something like that. That would be a real addition to your healing.
Okay. And when you're saying to stay raw, should I stick to only fruit or vegetables?
Fruit was really the nicest thing to consume anyway.
Mostly fruit. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Just grater in some carrot and cabbage, making a coleslaw with the avocado and some lemon, just to go with a salad, things like that. It's going to be beautiful and fine for you. Have you, I can see you, Charlotte. I don't know if you can hear me, but have you got any recommendations in your wonderful gnosis of cannabis? You have to unmute your mic as well. Sorry, sister. Can't hear you yet. Sorry.
Okay. Hi. You recommended a great strain. Any of those old, like the Kushes, the really Hindu Kush is something you will be very happy with, I think. I think that's going to be the most effective. I don't really have anything to add to that. I think oils may be something to do, and it may be a little bit faster affecting,
Yeah.
with the oils.
Yeah. I would say
Get.
well,
Yeah. But yeah, I don't really have anything else to add with you. I'm sorry.
No,
I know.
Thank you,
And
Shirley.
again, your partner had reached out, and unfortunately we are so heavily regulated that, I mean, they get us from seed to sell. So we have a really hard time to, as much as we want to help other people, we can't even sell it outside the state of California. So yeah, and hopefully that will all be changing in the new paradigm. But for now, we just kind of have to deal with that. Yeah.
All right.
So.
Well, thank you for popping back on and giving your
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Last question, Josh. So eventually my family will have to make me take the blood test for my hormone levels, just so I can show it to them that I'm not killing myself or anything like that. I'm still living in that split paradigm within the house, but it's okay. So how will it show up on my blood test, what I'm doing right now in terms of my TSH and all those levels?
Well, I say that if you're going to go after the 6 weeks, everything should be perfectly balanced within you. So as you've come off now, you're going to allow the time for the body to naturally regulate. And if you can get hold of this Hindu Kush or a type of Kush medicine in an oil form, this is going to really balance you in a fast way. More than likely, kind of instantaneously, is going to create that symbiotic relationship with all the communication that's going on with the endocrine system, the nervous system, and these types of things. And your tests, I would definitely get them done. So it's peace of mind for you and the family, because even though they do not know, they generally do care. So they want to see these results. And we would like to see these results as well, so we can just make sure that everything is in tune and in balance with you. Because that's the ultimate goal, is just for you to be in homeostasis with the body and then the spiritual side as well. But yeah, they should all be perfectly fine. Obviously 10 years is quite a long time for the system to be reliant on something, and we do go through these changes and purges as such, just cleaning the body out, and again the metals and things like that were inside. It's just going to be just a wonderful time for you and your family, and also it'll bring light to them when they see this, because obviously these things are incurable as such. So get the cannabis, and we'll talk about the dosing and stuff like that, but it's going to be something, especially if you're home with your beautiful Savannah. Is that a Savannah cat?
Yes, it is a Savannah cat. I also have a Bengal.
That's lovely.
But
yeah, so you're going to be fine. Just keep doing what you're doing. Stay talking to us. Stay interacting. And if anybody who's listening, what state are you in? New York.
New York, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm currently in Pennsylvania, in between homes. So since Pennsylvania is less regulated, we decided to stay here. Plus, we're in nature. I mean, yeah. So
okay,
well, definitely helping a lot.
I'll put in a direction to be able to get access to this. That will be wonderful and very helpful. But it's lovely to see you again.
Thank you so much. I look forward to every post and every podcast, everything. It's just amazing. I mean, literally, you're breathing life into us. Thank you so much.
We've got lots more coming. We've just been so busy setting up certain things so we can allow an influx of more people to help. So thank you very much for your support.
Appreciate it.
Love and light, sister. Take care. Thank you. We love you all. Patrick Flanagan, are you there?
Hi, Josh.
Hello, brother. Good day. How are you?
Hi. Yes, not too bad. Wasn't expecting you'd ask me. I've literally just joined, so I'm very new to this. Very much a novice, I think, compared to all your previous participants. I don't really, I mean, so many questions really, but I really think about the sort of initial stages of being a sponge, just taking it all in, really.
Yeah.
But, been fascinating. Certainly came across you through Charlie Freak, I suppose, like most people. But it's been an interesting journey because I think I've sort of came to you probably as the 12th sort of person since the start of lockdown.
Uh-huh.
It was Charlie Ward, and then sort of led on from that. So it's been very much serendipity in a way. But I think, yeah, I mean, maybe one question I suppose would be that you're obviously English born. I'm an Irish man in London. I think it's very difficult where I am at the minute. And I think I've heard you say this before. Just the weather we have here at the minute, the society, it's a very commercial society. I'm very much in the matrix. I run my own business. I'm an entrepreneur. I work in the city of London, but I'm really on this sort of, I can see where my path's going.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, as I said, I'm very much coming out of the matrix. It's been sort of 3 years, but I've been gradually getting there. And now I'm sort of just thinking about sort of vegetarianism. I'm still very much eating meat and stuff. So I'm very much at this stage where I can see where the path's going, but I know it's going to take many, many years. So is there anything that you could sort of give me advice at where this stage of my particular journey? Because I do feel in this society, it's just, especially UK, Ireland society, very, very, very difficult. I don't think there's too many awakened at the minute.
No. Again, within your paradigm as such, being involved in a city or even the center of a city, you're going to find the people in that environment are going to be accustomed to the energies that are there. So as you feel that you're awakening, you're going to start seeing these energies in a different way, and you're going to feel like you need to move away from that particular type of energy field. And if you're doing that, I would say try to action the intuitive sense of what's going on within you. And don't allow the chattering or the whisperers to try to convince you that you need to do something else. Just know that that initial response from you that says, you know what, I feel like I need to get out of here. And then, but I need to maintain the business and I need to do this and these type of things. They're trying to hold you down and keep you grounded in that particular environment. Just take small steps and progress daily, but know that everything that you're doing in the, you know, that type of busyness world is to really fundamentally is to keep you alive as such with a shelter and food. And in a long-term aspect, if you are working 8 hours a day, you may not be, but collectively most people are, to just have a roof over their head and feed themselves, it makes very good sense to get the food in its purest format grown by yourself, let it happen naturally from a seed for free, and every day of every year, to then move away from the work as such, and then be free in nature and never have to put yourself in a system that someone else is governing the flow of food or currency that goes into you and your family. So if you do see that now and you're starting to feel that, and you are in a position to maybe go to a place that is warmer, but there's a little bit of fear, I would say, you know, beat the fear and just move forward with it, because it's really a good time now to do it. And if you're in a position, allow it to flow organically for you, because that freedom from the physical constraints is there and available really to us now, whether we're on our own or we can, you know, gain a small amount of community of people seeking the same thing. With the meat, I would say, do you have any personal attachment to it in a sense where you feel like it's benefiting you in any way, shape, or form?
No, absolutely not. I mean, that's why it's been, you know, it's probably the last 3 weeks. It's been pretty much vegetarian.
Okay.
I still dairy products, but as I said, it's baby steps. And I said I stopped drinking alcohol. You know, I stopped drinking alcohol 3 years ago, and being probably a very stereotypical Irish person, I especially through my university years, that was a big thing for me to stop drinking alcohol, and that was many false starts over many years. But I've mastered that now over the last 3 years, and I sort of see it'd be the same with the food. You know, I've been very much brought up in a society where, you know, especially in Ireland as well, it's, you know, meat, potatoes, veg, that sort of staple diet every year, and it's just moving away from that. So yeah, no, I don't see any benefit in it for me, and I've just seen massive sort of reward in the last 3 weeks just by just altering it slightly.
Yeah, well,
so we're very much looking forward to it. My big thing is I've obviously been attracted to this because of the fast.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I know I'm coming in quite late, so I'm sort of thinking to myself, maybe do 3 days.
Yeah.
But there's a part of me now thinking as well, when I start something, I like to sort of keep it going. I've got Christmas coming up,
mm-hmm.
and I know I'm going to be with my family, and I know it's just going to be like, you know, Christmas turkey, ham, you know, so sort of like I'm a little bit of a dilemma at the minute whether I start it now or maybe do I wait to January. So, because I really, be perfectly honest, I can't see myself not eating Christmas turkey at this stage. So, and it's more a family thing, really. I think they just think I was absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I think it would be a good topic and a nice energy to almost focus in on you being different as such. And even though people may say the odd joke here and there, they're kind of interested into why someone's doing this. And if they do make these comments as such that are negative, it's because they don't understand. But it's your real internal compass, I would say, you know, and it depends on the perception that you have. Now, you know, most people have a perception that it's a food and it should be consumed and things like this. But if you're in a perception that you know that that's a dead bird and it's rotting flesh as such, and you're just consuming a muscle tissue, then try to cognitize that and really know that it's just not a food. And really, you could prepare something wonderful. The recipe book, have you got the recipe book now or not?
I've just joined today, so I don't think so, Josh. No.
Well, we'll make sure that you get a recipe book, and in there, you know, we've got, for example, like a nut roast, which is a great meat replacement, with like a wonderful Christmas dinner recipe. So it's like a full-on roast, and you could do that, or you could just make the nut roast and share the rest and not have the meat. Simple. Or you could continue juicing if you wish and just have something so quick and easy and just spend time loving the family with this wonderful smile. But you got to do what you got to do, and you're in the right place any given moment. So just, I'd say, make the best of every situation, and don't let anything really take a hold of you, whether it be something that you've just done. And if you did eat Christmas dinner, it's done. If you let it hold on to you and you wish you didn't, now that's just negative, and you don't need any of that. So
yeah,
you seem quite a strong character, and I think, you know, within, like you said, a few months, I'm sure that you'll be there. Is it the cheese and the milk that's holding you on to the vegetarianism at the moment?
Sorry, say that again, Josh.
Is it the cheese and the milk that's holding you on to vegetarianism?
I think it's just a gradual thing. I think, you know,
it's hard to give up as such.
Yeah, for me to go from just one extreme to another, I just saw it with the alcohol. I had many sort of false starts with that, and I think it's just, you know, the meat's been the sort of the first one.
Yeah.
Now I'm definitely going to sort of, I suppose, implement the dairy, the fish.
Yeah.
Just gradually do it. So you know, I just don't want to. I know my personality. You know, as I said, you probably identified quite. I'm very headstrong. I'm a businessman. When I want something, I want it done now. But I'm known now at sort of 41 years of age. Just a little bit more patience.
Virtue.
And as much as I'd like to be there today, I mean, as I said, this is very much the start for me. So just let's probably take it in baby steps, I think, for me at this point.
Yeah, make sure that it just gets done, and not think about it is the best way. And I think even doing it in the way that you're doing it, if naturally before you like to get it done now, you're overcoming a sin as such, and you're becoming patient, which is also going to benefit you in a holistic approach to everything. So yeah, I think you're taking it a good way.
That's great.
Yeah.
Just one final thing, Josh, has popped into my head. It's not necessarily for me, but my partner is on this journey with me as well.
Mm-hmm.
And she's a very similar situation, working in insurance in London. So we're on a really journey together, coming out of the matrix, as I call it.
Yeah.
And she's just been diagnosed recently with, and apologies if I don't say this correctly, endometriosis.
Uh-huh.
I think, So we're looking at lots of sort of different, I suppose remedies, therapy. She's got into the NHS in the UK, which is basically said, look, it's an operation, blah, 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 which she definitely doesn't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going down acupuncture routes, diet routes. So maybe not necessarily yourself, Josh, but if there's anybody in the group that maybe has any sort of awareness of this or any sort of advice, that'd be quite interested. Because
I
again,
would say if you're on your transition and she does the transition, she'll be absolutely fine. Acupuncture, if it's done in the correct way, just check that the acupuncturist is using like little Tesla coils. You'll notice that the old acupuncture used to have like copper spirals at the top. That's the true nature of acupuncture, because it used to draw an ether energy as such and go into the tissue and stimulate it. So they do need to be proper acupuncturists that have this, the true kit. But every single thing that has happened to us via our eating habits, which is every ailment that we've had, obviously, unless it be a broken bone or some type of injury from a crash, which we would heal the best doing this type of food. If she can just go whole food, plant-based, then her body will align itself, especially at this stage as well. And it should happen rapidly. She doesn't need to go on the juice fast. She doesn't need to do any of these things. But if you just go whole food and you're not having food that's been produced by anybody, and you try to get as much raw as you can, and if you like cooked food, try and get the juices and the smoothies in the early part of the day and fill your body up with light, I would say, you'll notice this. But reach out to us and then we can have a chat and try to build something that's personal to you guys, that you can get the best from the situation out of. But she won't need to go desperate, you won't.
Yeah, we intrinsically know that. It's just trying to.
Yeah, the thing is, when you're on the journey, maybe the position that you're in now, and you haven't experienced all the healing that comes from this type of diet, it's quite hard to just have that faith in something so simple as this. But really and truly, this is the ultimate fix, and it's the thing that doesn't mask you. It truly puts everything correct in the body, as it should be, because these ailments just come from poor eating habits. There's nothing hereditary. Thoughts, you could say, are hereditary because you get passed down from the genes of your mom and dad, but you are in control of these and you can change them. The food that you've consumed tends to come from your mom and dad, and then you copy the eating habits, so you develop the same things. You're in full control of your DNA and your thoughts, your body, your avatar, your spiritual connection. Just be receptive to things slowly, and as you progress, you'll get more perception, and in that more perception, you action more, and then you become more perception. It's key.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Well, love to you both anyway, and thank you for joining.
Thanks very much, Josh. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Love and light, brother. Take care. Elisa Hampton, are you there? Elisa, are you there? I can hear someone. If not, and you're having trouble, I'm going to jump to Justine K. Mean. How are you?
Hello, Josh, and everybody.
Good day, brother. Nice to meet you.
Hey, nice to be here. I'm so blessed to be led here. And I have a lot of questions, and I don't want to, take up the whole evening. So I guess I have to pick out a few, but I could maybe send you an email or something with.
Yeah, of course. But please go ahead. I'm sure most people want to ask certain things similar.
Yeah, sure. Let me start with for the last few, let's say, 4 or 5 days, maybe, I feel a little kind of the blues. I don't know. My frequency vibration is a little bit less than it was before.
Uh-huh.
Is that something to be expected, or is it just that it's that you can't eat anything, like some? I don't have any problem. I'm not hungry, or there's no issues like that. But for some reason I'm not as, let's say, happy as I was.
Yeah.
And that's what I mostly strive for, get.
Yeah. I would say, just to give you like the truth, brother, it is identity. You're identifying with certain aspects of conditioning and thought, which is the ego. Now, in a space of cleaning your body, this cleans the mind, and it basically can put you in a situation where ego tries to dominate you and crush you and tries to make you fail at what's going on. Then you can be dragged into the emotional content of this expressive thought process, and then this makes you feel a certain way. If you try to realize that the true you, or the self that you observe this feeling of unhappiness from, is watching all of this, and this is truly you, you can then convert that into almost laughter, that you've taken yourself so seriously up until the point of recognition that you are the observer of these thoughts, these feelings and emotions. And all they are is aspects that try to hold you down in a material aspect here. Because you're probably ready to move over, and there's this sort of imbalance right now, you can really spiral into this deep depression or thought process. One, if you give in, so you may then want to go for some food, and then you're going to have a higher thought, because I wish I didn't have food, and these things then get taken down and down. Is there a counter question I can see? Is there anything?
No, I was just thinking, like, it's not the actual big problem. It's not like, oh, I'm thinking about food all the time. That was just, I was just thinking maybe it could be some connection, that, because regarding ego, the last year I've been kind of like getting out of my own way. I'm not thinking, I'm not worrying or depressing about anything. I'm just trying to be here and now, and it's working out fantastic. Like the path of least resistance.
Yes. Well, I know that that aspect of you that's free from ego cannot be affected. The thoughts that are coming in, or this feeling is being affected, and that is an identification. And the only thing that watches these feelings is the space of your trueness. So you always try to bring yourself to that aspect that you are observing or feeling these senses, because the ultimate self cannot feel or think. It watches a feeling, and it watches the thinker. Now that's truly you. You're at the last stage of this ego space as such. Now what you need to do is cross that abyss. And when you do, you reach that space. And this is the last stage. If you've been doing this work right now, you're aligning with the spiritual side of your body, and the mind can almost just go into a spasm as such, and really try to crush you at this point. And if you've been doing the work and you don't normally get affected, and you're feeling these waves, they will pass. Wash the waves from the observer, and just really try to, as I like this word so much, to recognize. Use this time to really remember in every moment that you're here to watch these sensory perceptions from that space, to not get involved with the play of this material world, to be free from all illusion. Keep pressing hard, because this may be the point where everything switches for you. And just bring yourself to that space. That's all I can really recommend. You obviously know how to find the self, to see from that self. Keep pressing hard, and don't give in to this right now, because it may be your time to completely find yourself merging with that, mind, matter and spirit connected and working for you without no judgment every day. If that makes sense to you.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I know it's not a nice thing, and there are these last aspects of ourselves. It's just something that just needs to be gone and crushed, and the whole play is inside of us, within the mind. This is how we progress in our consciousness to this new space of evolution. It's all in that matter matrix mind illusory world, and we have to train ourselves to be able to see from the self that is unaffected to end this samsara cycle.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I was also here in Norway. We have, you know, not too much fruit. We have, of course, but there's lots of import, and there's also almost all fruit is seedless. So fruit can't be seedless, right? So, but how will that? That's like I have to do it because it's what we have.
Yeah.
But is it like fake fruit? Does it have what we need? What I need? I have lost 8 kilos.
Okay, 8 kilos again. Body fat, water retention.
Mostly fat and water, and of course stomach content. Or
so just keep watching it. You know, allow yourself to find that balance. You will be absolutely fine doing this. Fruit, if that food's coming in that format, then the rest of the food's going to be even worse in kind of that format, processed versions of that food. You're doing the best you can. These communities are happening. We're finding our families. We're working together. It's just beginning. I'm sure that we're all going to find ourselves in a space where we can have this fruit dropping from trees for free, in abundance, working together to raise these energies, helping each other. You know, people that are up our vibration pick you up. They pick people up and make them feel better. We resonate together, which increases our vibration. So just know that you're just doing the right job. Energies are collecting, and hold tight. Just keep doing the best you can do, and that's all you can do for this moment. You're doing an amazing job.
Oh, thank you. I'm trying, doing the best I can. Another thing is, you know, all this frugivore thing and fruitarian. It's like to me, it resonates like, you know, truth. So I don't need any, you know, source or validation or some other confirmation that it's the truth. But another thing is like I feel like I want to tell this to everybody. And I have, and what I see is that they resonate with because it's logic, right?
Logic is the best way to get into those minds. It's just presenting something in that way, yeah.
But you always have those like, okay, where do you have this from? Like, is there some like books or something that preach what you preach? Like, I don't need it. I'm just saying like. If I say, no, Josh said so, it doesn't help.
I would say that the people maybe that you're speaking to may think that we've evolved from gorillas and monkeys. If you get them to check a standard diet of a gorilla,
I'm reading a book actually, a Swedish guy called this handsome fella. He's been living off it's called wild plants, living union with nature by the help of raw food, quantum physics, and meditation.
Oh wow!
So he's kind of, you know, the Norwegian forest has a lot of edibles.
Yeah.
And people don't know that.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. But he's also talking about the chimpanzee diet, and that the chimpanzees, you know, mix the fruit and the green leaves to get the
enzymes,
glucose.
Okay.
You know that the green leaves kind of takes off the height of the glucose, so the pancreas don't have to work so much producing insulin and these things. And also that it was supposed to be good in a situation where got candida. That I don't know in this situation where we're fruiting if some, because what he says, green leaves has all the essential amino acids.
I would say that the essential amino acids are in life. For it to have a structure, it has to have this, so we can get confused as such. The tree works perfectly to absorb the photosynthesis that leaves drop to create the topsoil. So if you kind of look in that holistic way of how nature's functioning, leaves are not really a food for us. The fruit drops itself, and that fruit is the seed-bearing thing that continues life. So I would say I'm not disagreeing with him, but over time, the place that we're existing in, even for the animals, is lacking fruit. These systems of wonderful nature that symbiotically work with the vines and the nuts and the seeds, and how everything is just so in tune, has been taken, or it is a part of this consciousness. It's a part of this experience that we're having to be able to see what we truly need to work our way back to it in our evolution. And, you know, even the animals have suffered as such, so they're not in their natural environment. If an animal had an abundance of fruit dropping surrounding him, I'm pretty sure they would choose the fruit over the leaf, but they're having to consume leaves because of the lack of fruit. This is why the predators or the predators have been consuming flesh for so long. And if you give a dog a date, they absolutely love dates. If you feed dogs sweet potato and broccoli and rice and peppers and bananas and berries and these types of things, they love them. They thrive off them. Dogs can live up to 30 years on a vegetarian diet, yet they die at 8 or 10 or even 6 with this new commercial dry food diet. So humans have been scattered through commerce, houses have been put up, corporations have kept people alive. If corporations finished tomorrow, people wouldn't be able to consume the food that they have been consuming. If petrol stopped, everybody would need to migrate to a particular place to consume the food to survive. Logic in that sense tells us that we need a certain environment and we need a certain product to consume and reciprocate this life. And this is where this all comes into play. So chimpanzees predominantly, they say they have bloodlust and they sometimes eat another chimpanzee. It's all unnatural where we are right now. And fruit is the key for every aspect of life. And certain animals with nuts and seeds, they just help this ecosystem function. And certain plants create the soil that we need to have for the fruits to be full of the minerals, and they're not necessarily for consumption as well. So nature works in a wonderful way for us to have these fruits in the most healing capability and the most flavorful capability. A ripe fruit is incomparable with any other type of food for the palate. It doesn't need salt, it doesn't need anything. It's stunning.
Yeah, I agree. If I can ask you a question about grounding as well. When I'm out this time in Norway, it's quite cold, but I have a grounding sheet, which I wrap around myself when I meditate in these things. Is that an option?
Yeah,
I understand that the earth is probably the best, but
yeah, I mean, again, you're making the best of the situation you're in, so it's definitely good for you. It's better for you than not being any grounded or using a grounding mat as such. Also, if you can find just a small piece of copper and a piece of zinc, and you can meditate with the zinc and the copper in your hands, this is going to give you a let's say an ancient Egyptian charge, where the ankh and the staff, this can help energy flow within the system as well and increase your capability to charge.
Sounds interesting. I will try to get my hands on.
Yeah, even copper pipe from the local hardware store. Just cut a small piece off and utilize that, and until you can find some zinc or something like that, then just have the copper with you.
There's many others been talking about water.
Mm-hmm.
I see that distilled water is the preferred option. I haven't been able to get my hands on a distiller, but I have for quite a couple of years had a filtration system and a water alkalizer. there seems to be quite indifferent, or everybody doesn't agree what is the best water. Some are saying that the best water is the live water that's running in the creeks and these things, and somebody's swearing to distilled water. Some say that distilled water is so clean that it will seek balance and rob you of your
minerals. Yeah,
but it's good for a period when you're really, if you're sick or you're detoxing or whatever. Then of course it's preferable. But for the long run, I don't know. Do you always drink distilled water? Or
I would definitely recommend it. And where the confusion lies is, again, with the algorithms as such that's put out there on the internet, and it does leach minerals from the body, but what it's doing is it's attaching to the positively charged minerals that need to be removed from the body at any particular time. So whenever we consume food, no matter what food it is, there's a cycle going on within our body that will eventually lead to cell aging. This is why when we fast, or when we are such as breatharians, that no cell within the body will lose its life function, and you can extremely add time to the physiology nature by fasting. And I'm sure most people who have done this fast with us right now, and they maybe have done it previously, maybe day 8 to 9, you start to see the skin start to hydrate and absorb and to start looking a lot lighter, and newer wrinkles may pass and go. And this is why it's so wonderful to fast, because the oxidation happens when you consume food, and this is what causes us to age as such. But water distilled is allowing an empty source of water to go into the system and do what it's supposed to do. It's magnetic. It's the most wonderful source. It's elusive and incredible. And you dip your hands in with mud, and off comes the mud, and it just gets pulled into this water. The water sources that we have surrounding us now, I really, it's hard to trust them as such, because of what's happening within the atmosphere. People just haven't got a consciousness at the moment. They throw things in the river. They just, all of these types of things are different than they used to be. The only true source that we can trust is distilled water, and in the distillation process, the water does become alive, because it starts to free flow and basically organically become one again with itself. So the water starts to become alive. It's alive with a charge. And this is why I really recommend the negative charged copper vessels magnetically, because anything in our body that's positive must be neutralized by a negative field to create this balance. That's why all the foods need to be of an alkaline nature, because the acidic nature, translate that into the dimension of energy, is a positive energy. Now, positivity in our matrix is good, but it's bad. Negativity is good, but it's bad in our matrix. So what we need to do is create that balance. So as a positive being, we always try to eat from the earth, because she's of the negative charge. This is why we consume the fruits of the negative charge magnetically.
So I guess, like, it's in the rest of nature where it's supposed to be balanced. Can one get too alkaline?
I would say that every day that this oxidation process happens, we create an acidity through that process. So every time a process is happening in the body, it needs to be balanced by the alkaline nature. So your body is always finding that balance inside. So to feed it alkalinity is what we need to do. Now, the alkaline process that's going on inside the body, again, is not necessarily the fruit's alkalinity, because we can consume a lemon, that's 3, but it's alkalized into our body. It's the process that happens in the body that causes either alkalinity or acidity. So everything that is of an alkaline nature is kind of this negative charge. And this causes the body to balance itself with its natural positive redshift charge. And then once you've got this reciprocating torus, the Bible as such, the body can live off breath, and then it never ages.
yeah, I think I'll let somebody else ask their questions as well. Thank you very much.
Beautiful questions, brother. Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
Lovely to meet you. Brother Scott, are you there? We forgot to go to Shanti. So Shanti, are you there, sister? Sorry, we forgot to come back to you.
Yes, thank you. I'm here.
Good day.
Yeah, I don't have any question today. Just gratitudes and love.
Thank you very much.
And best wishes to everybody. We are so happy doing this that we plan to continue as our lifestyle because we are feeling very great.
Oh, that's amazing to hear.
Yeah.
Well, we're sending so much love to you and your family.
One question about my husband, because I told you last week he was losing a lot of weight.
Yeah.
And can he take avocado?
Say that again.
Can he take avocado now these days?
Avocado, I mean, if he's looking to eat again, then that's absolutely fine. And just if you feel really good, just have rotation cycles of intermittent fasting and you'll keep this vibrancy. But if he's looking to put on weight as such, eating the whole food, especially raw, he will need to do some sort of exercise because again, the body doesn't necessarily want to grow excess amount that it doesn't need. So get him to do some of this physical stuff around the house and the garden.
No, he doesn't. We don't want to stop. He wants to continue with the juicing.
Yeah.
But if we could add one avocado per day, for example, just to keep the weight.
I would say it wouldn't keep the weight. The weight that we have as fat tissue or the storage of fat is just through the accumulation of toxins, the meat, the dairy, or just the unnatural environment that we have. And once that's gone, it's not really, it won't come back with avocado, but you can, if you want him to gain some sort of fat stores as such, without sort of being chemically induced, give him a lot of coconut and dates. Coconut and dates. If he has a lot of them, either just eat coconut and dates as such.
So during the juicing, he can eat dates.
Well, it's not juicing anymore, and obviously his digestive system's going to come back.
Okay. Then we don't eat anything. We wait.
Yeah, but again, if you want him to bulk up a little bit or just put on a bit of size, muscular, obviously, as you've been saying, just exercising them, resistance training. But if you're looking for a layer of subcutaneous fat, then just tell them to indulge in a lot of raw food cakes as such, and have a lot of coconut and dates mixed together, and this will bulk them up slightly.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Well,
thank you so much.
You take care. Love you both. Wanda, are you there, sister?
Yes, hi.
Good day to you. How are you?
Good. I'm just trying to start my video. There we go.
Good day, sister.
Hi. I'm going fantastic. I did for a few days sort of have a little bit of avocado and just a little bit of fruit, and then I realized that I wasn't meant to eat at all, so I went back to not eating at all. So do I have to sort of start counting my days from the start, or
counting your days? Oh no.
Well, okay. Yeah. I'm just sort of trying to go with the information of where people are at and what we're meant to experience. So I think I'm pretty much on track, but I was just curious. So one thing that I still do have is I have like a really thick sort of layer of stuff on my tongue, and my teeth keep getting sort of really like a thick layer of something all the time. So I keep brushing it and brushing my tongue, and I just feel incredibly thirsty all the time, and especially after I've had the juice, I feel incredibly thirsty. So what's your feedback on that?
What juice are you having?
Just orange juice and a little bit. Sometimes I have on half a liter, I have one grapefruit in it, because sometimes that sweetness of the orange juice is just too much.
Have you noticed a difference when you're consuming the grapefruit and the orange, or have you not really thought about that till this time?
Well, I talked to you a couple of weeks ago and said I had done a longer water fast in the past and then stopped because people scared me that it was dangerous to do. So and then I had the same thing. I just was incredibly thirsty all the time.
Okay. So right now you are on, do you say day 3, 4, 5 of after the avocado? Yeah. And do you consume much water during this time, or is it mainly juice?
I have probably about 2 to 3 liters of water, and then I have probably like 3 half-liter juices throughout the day.
Yeah. Okay, then that's definitely enough. You're definitely having enough water, definitely having enough juice. I would say that what's happening right now is still a continual detox. And the body's just having a expression via that avenue within the body. Is it something you cannot satiate even with a drink?
Well, it satiates for about 2 seconds and then it comes back.
Just keep watching it. You're doing absolutely fine. You're good, but know that these things can happen as a part of this detox period. And if we did have a lot of detox in our cells before, that it may take some time, but if you want it to stop, then you could just continue to maybe just eat, start eating again. And if it's not too uncomfortable, I would just keep going with the detox, get as much.
No, I'm all good. I'm happy to power on. It's just more that I was curious, if you had a feedback on that.
Yeah, it's just usually a candida diarrhea symptom is definitely a dry mouth, a cotton mouth, and these types of things. If we've had a lot of toxins in our stores, in our fat cells and things like this, and they are leaving us, they can just continue for an extended period of time.
Okay. Yeah. Super.
Wonderful weather.
It's probably candida die-off, I think, because I have had issues with that throughout my life, here and there. And I have had sort of in the last maybe year or 2, I had sort of some sort of aches and pain stuff starting. So I knew like, oh my God, this is getting old. So I definitely think it's probably what it is. Yeah. So it's good to know. So that correlates with the candida die-off.
Yeah, just know that accumulation of these things may take longer than others in our body, and just watch it, learn to grow with it, resonate with yourself, and find that space.
So I guess a similar question then to somebody before me today. So if after the 3-day water fast that we do at the end, if I still sort of have some symptoms that I don't feel in balance with, I just keep going with the juice fasting, or I keep going with the water fasting, or?
Yeah, I mean, intermittently exchanging both of them is wonderful. But the juice is going to refill the body full of minerals and such as lost through poor eating habits, and the water fast is more of a really enhanced cleanse clearing, and it can help real terminal diseases and heart problems and things like that within an instant. So it's just really feeling the body and where it wants to be, whether it wants to be a water fast for really great like loss of inflammation to allow the body to function, and then refeed it with juices after, or it just
so I could go to the water fast now.
You could, if you, I mean, to water fast safely, up to 40 days, and then just keep watching yourself, and here you go. But after day 7 on a water fast, you start to feel absolutely incredible, incredible. So,
I know from last time, yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
So you can do that, and if you find that you're in a position to do it, then I would definitely go ahead with it, because it would just bring you heights to you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. I'll let somebody else go on. Thank you for everything, Josh. It's fantastic.
Well, have a wonderful day. Enjoy the weather.
Yeah, same. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for your support. Kirsten, are you there, sister?
Because you know what? You know how I thought, oh, let me go to video. Hello.
Good day, sister. How are you?
Good. So I understand you're not for urine therapy, but you're not really against it then?
I'm not against it as such, but I just don't really truly see the benefits unless it's used in an emergency situation as such.
Right, like if we're in the desert or something.
Yeah, you
get water source.
Stung by a bee or a hornet or a octopus,
yeah,
things like that. And again, your body can release something with inside the urine that can help if you drink at that particular time, like an antibody as such. But apart from that, it does contain minerals, but there's more minerals, and the flavor's obviously there with the fruit, and it's a bit more enticed into the senses.
Yeah.
So
I was doing it kind of like an experiment, I think, to see how I would feel, and I feel like I had quite a bit of good experiences with it. I was using it internally and externally, and I felt like my skin was really soft.
Yeah, I mean, the uric acid from urine is used in a lot of beauty products, but again, there's chemicals there, and the 100 years ago, the Victorians were having their copper baths, and sometimes they'd have urine baths. It's pretty similar to the amniotic fluid that goes within the womb of a baby. So their skin comes out wonderful and soft and things like this. So it does have those type of benefits, but the skin purifies itself within a rapid rate, so it stays kind of fresh and renewed if you have this fruit juice diet. But in my own personal experiences with it, because I was aware of it maybe for 16, 17 years ago as such, and I tried things, I just feel so much more high vibrational on fruit and fruit juices. Even in the instant moment, and being sensitive to all aspects of food and how it affects us. The rush and the energy field that I get from a fruit juice is incomparable, personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And I was just, some people I think were asking during the water fast. I personally would probably do the urine therapy during the water fast because I don't feel like I get hungry if I drink my urine. So I might use that then.
It's something that you definitely should, for your own awareness, play with if it's a curiosity, because otherwise you don't truly know,
Yeah.
So let your inner compass guide you and grow in wisdom with it, and then you'll have something to share with everyone. And
yeah, I appreciate all of your and whatever your experiences and your excitement over this, and you've helped so many people, and we really appreciate you.
Oh, thank you so much. Well,
thank you.
If there's anything else, or is that all?
No, that's it.
All right. Have a wonderful day. Love to you and your family.
Thank you too.
Take
Bye-bye.
care. Bye-bye. Dory, are you there, sister?
Hello. Hello, everyone. Hello, family.
Good day to see you. Good day. You're looking very well.
Oh, thank you. I'm feeling fantastic.
Lovely to see you again.
Yes, you too. Excuse me. I had an actual dental question. So through Whole Foods, obviously our teeth repair themselves. This I know 100%.
Yeah.
But what if we've had dental work done? So for example, I did have a root canal, which I'm having some problems with. I know I've known for years the challenges with crowns and root canals. It was a choice in the moment just because I had some other teeth that had been pulled. So I just wanted some good chewing teeth.
Okay.
So juicing, you don't have to worry about that. But with good chewing teeth, it's good to have teeth. So number one, will will our teeth ever regrow on their own? Because I've known one individual who actually had a second set of adult teeth come in. So I know this is a possibility in the fields.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious if we can manifest these for ourselves with that level of cognizance.
Yeah, I think with a certain level of mastery of your physical body, it would take some time and some serious work. But this would bring in the occult side, and it's calcium deposits as such, and spontaneous growth can happen. But it'd be a hard thing to do. It would be a certain level of mastery as such, and these things just may spontaneously happen with certain people's genetics if they are of any type of chemical imbalance as such, or it just might be something that's happening to them. Root canals are not a very good thing to have in our mouth as such, and you'll find that most people who have them have a association with a disease as such, or a chronic ailment. Have you got any chronic ailments at the present time, or is it just
nothing chronic? But I noticed that the gum line is continuing to recede right exactly where that root canal is done. Yeah. And I do have a dental appointment on this upcoming week, and I think I'll see what he says. However, I'm really I know for a fact that the best thing for me is to pull that out of my mouth.
Yeah.
So
again, with it receding, it's not necessarily recognizing that there's a tooth there, so it's naturally just pulling around it because the old one's been removed. So as it's receding, it's just healing and shrinking in the hole that was there caused by the big cavity. So maybe I would say the best thing would be to just get it pulled. Is it right at the back? Yeah.
It's not quite at the back, but not quite at the front. So yeah.
Well,
right here.
Yeah, with the soft roots and these things that you're moving forward into, and I think there's time, and I wouldn't definitely recommend if anybody's thinking of a root canal, try to avoid it. And I don't know if they can bridge it or do anything like that for you. You could try and see like an holistic dentist that doesn't use any sort of chemicals as such, and maybe they can put a bridge in where they can just sort of use a type of glue that is not harmful to you to hold the tooth in place. That's what I would suggest instead of getting a root canal done. There's so much linked to, I don't even like saying the words, but there's a lot linked to these root canals, and if one has a question, then we can share. But until then, you look like you're doing fine. You look like you're buzzing and healing, and yeah.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. That I did want confirmation on that. So thank you so much. Super appreciation and gratitude as always. To you and your family, and to the extended family. Thank you.
Well, it's lovely to have you a part of it, and thank you again for coming on. Beautiful. Take care, sister. Jeannie Marshall, are you there, sister?
I am here, yes.
Good day.
Thank you. Thank you. Good day to you as well. And thank you for what you are creating here, not just this one community, but all that you're creating. It is magnificent. I have been waiting for the Great Awakening for a very long time, and for many aspects in my life, I have been awake even as a child. I don't talk about that any other place than here, but it has been an amazing experience to just observe, experience life, and I've also been indoctrinated by the school system, but I feel that I'm very clear who I am and why I'm here. So all that is very helpful. And Ben was saying something about the shape of the earth earlier, and it reminded me of some of my experiences about that, because as a child, I could not get my head around this ball that we were living on. It just made no sense to me. But it also wasn't something I necessarily pursued a lot, and I don't like to argue with people about things.
Yeah.
So it's okay. But I have found more recently, as more people are aware of that, are having discussions, and many are having arguments about it, that sometimes it's the language that really makes a difference. Like, I can understand that people aren't going to accept flat earth. I mean, if you're at the bottom of a mountain and you're looking, I mean, there's nothing flat about that. So I like to use level or some other language like that, that really helps people to
cognitize it as such, isn't it?
Yeah, or to have their own observations. Like, I was talking to somebody recently, and I said, watch the horizon and get your own experience. Now, I live on the 8th floor of a condo building overlooking the Pacific Ocean. So I see the horizon all day long. I see the sun set. I don't see the sunrise, but I see it set, and I see the cycles of the moon. And it is the most calming kind of experience for me to be connected to the earth in that particular way. Other ways also, but that way. And it just helps me to further understand why I connect to the earth as I do, as not being a ball that floats through through the ethers. And so the question that comes up that I'd like to express is, do you have language that when there is a discussion like this with people who don't get that, that just helps them to come in? I always look for a teachable moment rather than trying to convince somebody. But the more I know and the more I hear about people who are discussing this, the more I learn. So I just wondered if you might share some of the languaging that helps people to open to this, just as a possibility, perhaps.
Yeah, I think the one thing that closes all cases is everything is energy. And it might be too much for most people who are just sort of in that conversation period where they're trying. But if you understand that all is atom, or all is this magnetic field, and how energy is created, then that inertial plane that exists from the colliding of the positive and negative to create this the plane of inertia, that allows consciousness to be able to exist via the energetic field that's being perturbated from this torus. Now, to put that in something that people may understand is hard, because they got this aspect of space. You can say the flat earth or like the plane as such, they say that how would it just be existing or floating as such when it's really encompassed in an energy field, and all is kind of illusion, really, because it's all come from this consciousness, or this expansion of consciousness. It's one of those things that you kind of have to let people grow into without causing too much cognitive. You can't put water on a ball without it falling off, you know. It conforms to its cup. Sea being level itself, and the word flat is lat, which is come from the word latitude. Longitudinal, latitudinal lines basically present itself in such a way that you know that it's flat. People need to have the science, I feel. So the Earth itself is supposedly having a curvature of 8 inches per mile squared. Now, there's so many tests that can be done with laser technology, even by yourself, to prove that there is no curvature. And there is definitely no 8 inches per mile squared. Water would naturally just run off of this ball. You can't stand on a ball. You can't live on a ball. it's one of those things, it has to be in an individual topic or conversation. But if you're looking to get through to people or try to help them guide it, I would just present the evidence. Most people, there's an article in the, I think it's 18, it's the NASA, there's a NASA article. I'm getting it confused with another article right now, where it basically explains that the Earth is a flat plane and all these tests to do with trigonometry has been done over this flat plane, and it's printed in a NASA article. I will remember it in a minute and I'll share it. But again, it's just showing these small things. A lot of people aren't ready to hear it, to be fair. A lot of people are not ready. So I hope that helps in any way, shape or form. And if you do have a counter question or a counter speech, please do, and then we can try and take it somewhere.
Well, I love the idea of talking about energy because I talk about energy all the time in my work. So I'm going to meditate on that, ponder that a bit as to some language. This is not something I feel I have a mission to talk about. Okay. The shape of the earth. Yeah. But when there are the conversations and the heated arguments, I'm a mediator kind of person. And so I like to help people find a common ground. And I'd love to see that article for
I remembered it now. Share. It's called NASA Publication 1207, 1988.
Would you say that again?
NASA Publication 1207, 1988. If you go down to the summary, it has an explanation that as a linear aircraft derived on a flat plane, all the trajectory works with the aircraft. It does state it, I think, in the first 3 pages. And that's one thing, you know, the company NASA in Hebrew means to deceive. And the logo also looks like this snake tongue as such. But really, we just got to get out the illusion and the things that have been brought to us. Every single civilization previous to this one knew that it had to be this flat plane. In a physical nature, if you want to go deep into it, everything has come from the source of a tree. And the tree in language represents a physical that rightfully establishes this ether field. That's why they're our opposite, and they keep us alive in every way, shape, or form by creating the oxygen, taking away the carbon dioxide, and giving us fruit. Initially, there would have been one huge tree that would have grew and then fell, and then in that falling, it would have created earth, and that earth then, over time, either created sedimentary rock because the tree petrifies and turns solid, or it turns into earth, sand, or anything of that. If you just observe nature, you'll find that if it's in a soft, wet, damp environment, it turns to soil quite rapidly. If it's in a hot, arid space, in dry, it will petrify and turn into stone. So over time, from trees, you know, you can see trees growing out of these rocks. It's just been an accumulation of trees over time to be able for a physical manifestation of species to exist. And obviously time is an illusion as such, so this would have just kind of happened instantaneously within the thought of consciousness. But in a slowed down time dimension, these things would have happened over a period of a long time, if that makes sense. But with the energy, if they look at it as energy, you know, the word earth is an anagram for heart. You take the H off the front and put it in, heart is in the middle. Break the word down, heart again. It has H, which is a vibration. Then it's got E and A. Now this represents the alpha and the ether together. These two energy fields represent the red shift and the blue shift of the Taurus. The R represents 18, which is the full magnetic field. T is a physical, H is a vibration. Together they make the physical vibration. So the earth itself is the E and A, which is the Taurus field, fully reciprocating in a physical vibration. And that's how it come into existence.
Often I find when I fully understand something, that just sitting with someone, they get it more easily, and I don't need to be concerned about how they take it in. They'll take it in however they want to. So I love your languaging. Language is important to me also. And I really appreciate this added information. Thank you so much. I'll save my other question for another week because I know that there still are some people who haven't yet spoken, but thank you, Josh.
Thank you. Well, we look forward to that. Have a wonderful day, okay?
I sure will.
Oh, love and light, sister. Tess, I can see that you've got a hand up. Would you like to come in?
Hi, can you hear me?
I can very well. Good day to you, sister.
Yes. Okay, so loving all the questions and just this whole process is just so amazing to me. I am I guess, I've been on this journey for a really long time, and with my relationship with food and health and wellness. And, I originally started out with my background and learning about mental health, and I was wanting to really, go and get my PhD and all that. And then I realized that food was such an important part of how our moods and all that. Then that led me down the path of where I am today in professionally, in that I am, a naturopath, but I'm a raw food chef as well, as I shared before, because I know I know the importance of food and how that all works together. Mm-hmm. So I have a really good understanding, I feel like, of that. But yet your teachings, Charlie's teachings, flies in the face of a lot of the things that I have accepted as truth, and I'm sure that's could be said with most everyone in one way or the other. But one of the big things that I'm struggling with is the fruit thing, all the fruit, because in my educational process, I don't know if you know about, there's a place in West Palm Beach, Florida called Hippocrates Institute, and they've been open for like over 50 years, and they do only raw foods to heal people and wheatgrass juice. Well, I did a 9-week immersion program with them back about 4 years ago, and did a 9-week with other practitioners from around the world, and experienced that whole lifestyle of healing the body with raw foods. And so that led me to go and be trained as a chef, a raw food chef, because I wanted to create wonderful foods and make people want to eat raw foods, So anyway, but all that to say that the sugar is the thing, the fruit sugars, even at Hippocrates, and all these years they've been doing it, they don't do fruit. Anyone who has cancer, they don't give them fruit. It's like, because they say that feeds cancer. Well, I've been programmed to believe that. And then of course, in my personal journey, as trying to keep my body healthy and fit and all that, fruit was taboo. No, don't eat fruit, because it. So here I am. When I started out with this fast, I knew this was going to be a challenge for me. I knew it, because I've got these filters, of no fruit, no, you can't do that. I mean, that's just stuff. So I haven't done really well with this fast because of that. I've been really grappling with it. So it's, I'm learning. I don't know. I guess my question to you then, Josh, is how did you come to this gnosis, if you will, about the fruits in the body, and how did you come to this conclusion or this understanding, if you will?
I think you might have to turn your mic on, because it's just audio sound.
My mic?
Yeah, just for now, because it's just that's it. So it's through personal experience, as a continual part of growing and healing chronic diseases, and going through vegetables as such with fruits. And we have fruit classifications: cucumbers are fruits, and tomatoes are fruits, and peppers are fruits, and these types of things. And then working our way to a place that actually causes this non-inflammation within the body. Onions, garlic, poisons, they destroy gut bacteria. Same as chili, they're negative prana, they pull this energy from the body. Having that real and understanding of that everything that goes into our system must be easily assimilated, creating less acidity, and then working with people over time. So again, initially we transitioned from the Western world diet to cooked food as such with vegetables, because we're taught that vegetables, we must eat our vegetables as such. And then when we go to this raw food, you'll find that the digestive system finds it quite uncomfortable, especially with people that have chronic disease. If you juice fruit juices and vegetable juices, or vegetable juices, you're going to find a massive amount of healing, especially if people are coming off a normal diet to vegetables. Their body's going to heal itself rapidly. And certain starches within certain vegetables keep candida alive. What the misconception is that the sugar feeds candida, which is not true. It's the alkalinity from the fruits that starves candida. Sugar feeds candida 100%. It's the fuel that adds to the fire, but not from fruit. Fruit in itself is available and is alive. And the process that candida has, or the role that it has within our body, is to eat dead matter or inabsorbable matter as such. So when you're having foods that are not easily assimilated or contain any aspect of death within them, candida will be prevalent. And in unnatural balances of sugars and starches as such that aren't easily assimilated by the body, then candida will come into the body. But I can see why the Institute has healed a lot of people, because that diet does heal a lot of people. But dealing with chronic illnesses, chronic inflammation, chronic pain, chronic sinus issues, ME, chronic fatigue, these type of things here, foods such as, the carrots, the cabbage, the vegetables, the nightshades, even the raw peppers, the raw tomatoes, these things, in those type of ailments, the body doesn't find healing. So then naturally trying to figure these things out, you come to this holistic understanding and you see the healing with the fruit. And then it all just aligns with this hyper awareness that comes from, really seeking for such a long time and having that practical experience. Also, logically, the body's primary fuel source is glucose. Is that something that you understand? Yeah. So the food that has this easily assimilated primary source of fuel is fruit. The fruit bears the seed inside of it, which continues life logically. It has a full array of the amino acids. That's all that life needs to do to create this protein synthesis, to build new tissue, and then to feed the fuel that functions our system. So I think personally, there's going to be a lot of growth from you just by having this experience. And once you've fully transitioned over to fruit, if you are even, if you're trying to do it, or you're going to go through a life experience to feel it, you'll see how much more high vibrational you are actually within your own avatar as such. You will know it without a shadow of a doubt. You will feel the light course you. But again, you do feel good with vegetables, especially raw. But if you go from a fruit to a vegetable after being on fruit for such a long time, you can feel the difference in your physiology like that. If you try to consume a cabbage, or you try to consume something of that nature, gas, then the body's struggling and these types of things. So if you'd like to join back in and maybe ask a counter question, or.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So I feel like this is like, it's an evolutionary process. This coming to understand all this. I'm learning the language, trying to learn the language that you and Charlie use, and so cool. And so I know this is a challenge for me, and so I'm accepting the challenge. But I have done a little bit of experiment with myself during this. I'll get off and eat, a little bit of this or a little bit, and then I'll try to get back on. It's like. And then I notice how my body feels when I'm like even if it's raw food, like I've been like 90% raw for a really long time. Okay, so but not fruits necessarily. It's mostly veg, like greens. I'm all about the greens, and so but I've noticed that I've even eaten some cooked foods. Like after the first 4 or 5 days of the juicing, I was like, I just need some. And I did that, and then I noticed how my body was feeling. It's like, that doesn't feel good at all to me. So I always use my own body as a laboratory for learning, And so it's like, I'm discovering some really interesting things and how seductive cooked foods are.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, it's like, really, seriously? Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool to come to this, understanding. And so anyway, but thank you, Josh, for all that you're doing. I mean, your presence is just exudes radiance and just love and beauty. And I love that. That shows you the food is, it does have to do with that inner radiance, and it comes forth. So, I mean, I've had that understanding for a really long time, but now you guys are taking this, you and Charlie are taking this to a completely different level than I've ever experienced. So thank you for this challenge. For me, it's a challenge that I accept. And so thank you. I look forward to coming to Portugal and visiting your center there, and because I'm looking to do the same thing here in the U.S. and as I've shared, and so I've been looking for land for a long time. So like, where do I put this place? Yeah. This healing center, because that's my dream. That's been a dream for a really long time. So anyway, cool. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Take care.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Brother Matthew, are you there? Did you want to ask something today?
Hello, Josh. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes. How are you today, brother? You good?
I'm very well, thank you. They're doing very well. I do have a couple of questions. The first one is, can you drink too much juice?
I think your body's got a good mechanism of telling you when you don't need any more juice or more this glucose. You may find a slightly sickly feeling within the mouth. Just hydrate with water as such if you feel empty, but not really. You'll know, and your stomach can only handle so much of this heaviness from the fluid. So you have to drink an awful lot to feel something like that.
I just feel like drinking the juice all the time, and I'm really enjoying it. I love it.
That's beautiful.
Maybe that's why it tastes so good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the other question I have, Josh, is what about bathing water? I'm not sure whether people are bathing just in a normal shower where we know the water's toxic and do our bodies absorb the fluoride and the chlorine from a shower?
They do. Even it may seem a bit extreme, but even the fact of when we shower with heat or a very hot shower, it releases the gas as such. So you're having these chemicals being released into the breath, and sometimes you can feel quite lightheaded in a shower if you have it quite hot due to the nature of the steam and the vapors being released, chloric gas and things like that. So I would again, we're in this shift. We're going to be somewhere within the next few years that's going to allow us all to have this level of awareness to be in harmony. For now, obviously bathing for extended periods of time in government water does get absorbed into the skin. So limit bathing in baths, I would say. If you are, utilize some Epsom salt and Himalayan salt to help it pull from the skin. Even to go as far as having some carbon thrown in your bath, some activated charcoal as such, and then shower off.
My volume is very low. Okay.
And then
speak a bit louder.
Yeah, and then shower off. But limit. I would say.
Actually. I was just concerned about other people. I'm actually showering in rainwater.
Okay.
I thought that would be better than tap water.
Yeah, I think it would be too.
Well, I've got a little pump thing that just goes in a bucket and it just pumps it up. So, okay, that's great.
Yeah, just keep showering. Just use that, and we'll be somewhere soon. Use the sea if you can as well. That's a wonderful feeling.
Yeah, it's a bit far away from here, but the sea, you mean, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I've just got something to share. I mean, I'm still detoxifying because I'm absolutely full of candida, so it's all coming out on my head and around the face and everything. But I know now it's going to take 6 weeks or something.
Yeah.
But the other thing that's happened, I've done a number of fasts before this, and I've been doing yoga on and off for many years. And ever since I was a child, I could never touch my feet. I could never get anywhere near my feet for some reason. And now, since being on this juice fast, I can touch my toes for the first time in my life, with straight legs, I mean, which is amazing. I mean, that's just odd.
You think sometimes though,
That's a really good thing.
calcium can build up and restrict us through certain movement, and as this deposit starts to leave our body, then it's going to allow, less restriction. So well done for being able to touch your toes.
Oh, that makes sense.
That's beautiful.
And
yeah. How are you feeling
Thanks.
anyway within yourself? Are you feeling good apart from the candida? Because you look well. You can see your skin looks better from here from the last time I seen you, and you look well.
Yeah, I feel, I'm very, very skinny. I've always been skinny, but I feel up and down a little bit, but mostly up.
Yeah, and that's good.
Just the things that I have to, when I have to go out and, do stuff in in that world that's out there at the moment, just drains me a little bit.
Yeah, I definitely.
But yeah, I feel good.
Good.
I'm sleeping very, very well, which is unusual for me as well. And I do have one question which I'm asking on behalf of another ex-family member who doesn't yet, he's not able to participate in this at the moment, but he's under, it's going to sound like a pretty trivial question, but it really isn't, because it's keeping him up at night.
Okay.
And he has a very stressful life at the moment, but he has managed to fast so far. And he's a very nice man. And his problem is that he's got a family of mice living underneath the floorboards, and they keep him awake at night. So he's asked them to leave. He's managed to catch one in a humane trap, but they're still there keeping him awake at night. And I just wondered whether anyone would have any ideas how to ask those mice to leave.
The thing is, if the mice have found a wonderful home for the winter, it's going to be very hard for them to leave.
Well, I've told him to use earplugs, but
yeah, make peace with the mice and invite them into the bed where they'll be less noisy. I would say, unfortunately, he might have to take his floorboards up and peacefully move them somewhere else, or move himself somewhere else, depends on the level of his nature. Could be a great test for him, but earplugs or some heavy indica might help him sleep through it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Wish him our love.
Well, I'm just listening to everything.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
will.
Well,
So
great.
thank you very much, Joss. And I don't really have any more questions at the moment. I'm doing very well.
Well, stay strong, brother. Love and light to you.
Same to you.
Thank you.
And to everybody else. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Charlotte, did you have, says you've put up a hand. Did you want to ask anything else? And is there anybody there that wants to ask a question that I may have missed? I'm not sure if we had.
Yeah, I would love to ask you a question. Hey, Josh.
Good, brother. How are you?
It's always wonderful to talk to you. Thank you. I'm wonderful.
See you again.
Feeling on top of the world, man.
Good.
It's just each day it gets better and better. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for seeing this. I'm so grateful for this journey. And what an amazing time. What an exciting time. It's incredible.
And it's wonderful to share it with beings such as yourself, brother. It's nice to see you again. Really.
Yeah, you too. So I'll just jump right into questions. We've got a few. So a simple one, juicing pineapple. Pineapple is kind of a pain to cut up and stuff. Is there any issue with just throwing the whole thing in, just chopping it up into bits and pushing it through the juicer, as long as I washed the exterior with your vinegar and baking soda solution? Would that be okay, or do I need to actually cut the rind off?
Yeah, so it's one of those things. The fruit is so sweet and lovely, isn't it? And 2 or 3 pineapples makes a nice juice as such. I have always chopped it because of the nature of the fruit is so tough, and then almost within the first sort of layer under the skin, it's almost open sometimes. So I do like to take that initial layer off, and I've never even tried to wash it as such. I feel like one of the things with pineapple, it feels very heavily sprayed as such, unless it's of a great organic source. One day we're going to be around perfect pineapples, brother. We are. But until then, I would just continue to chop it. Chop the top, chop the sides down, chop the bottom, keep the middle core away. Sometimes that causes the mouth to feel a little bit tingly. And yeah, just enjoy your juice and use it as a big shamanic spiritual play.
That's so good. It's so tasty. All right. So another question. I'm pretty tall, and I live in a small person's world, so I'm having to lean over lots of sinks and things like that. And I've noticed since doing this that when I'm leaning over the sink, I have this pain in my left hand side, I believe, in my spleen area. And it only happens when I'm standing and leaning over. And I was just curious if you had any insight into why that might be or what might be going on.
Yeah, is it feels slightly like under the rib cage where it just points? Tiny little.
Yes, slight like right where the rib cage. Yes, right under the rib cage on my left side.
Yeah, usually these things come into being when the digestive system's shrinking as such, and you're just starting to feel what's going on inside the body, and it can be quite uncomfortable, but posture is key. The word posture, post you are, post being after. So again, just being in that position and these feelings of unnatural comfort or discomfort is to just make sure that we correct the posture. So your physical is expressing something for you to grow again, and just utilize that and know that maybe just sitting straight, few breaths, and maybe going on your knees and getting some stilts might give you that perfect balance.
Yep.
But yeah, again, it's one of those things you do feel it. A lot of people do feel this within their under the rib cage just from having a smaller intestine, and things are just becoming more apparent because we eat a lot usually through the day as consumers, and it just fills us up in a way where we don't necessarily feel in our stomach. And now you have nothing in there, you're starting to be receptive to just the internal geometry of your gut, and it's natural though. It's definitely not something you need to be concerned about.
Great. Yeah, it's always good to have little reminders of things to improve and work on. So you talked a little bit about bathing in chemical-laced water. I wanted to ask about baths with salt in particular. You mentioned it. So you think by taking a bath, as long as you're adding the salts to it, you're counteracting the majority of the negative effects, and it's
Yeah,
still a bit overly beneficial.
if you chuck the carbon in there as well, a bit of activated charcoal, it will aid in cleaning, but also the toxins get absorbed in the carbon. This is why we use carbon filters and things like this. And the salts help it draw it from the body. So it's going to definitely help the body to not absorb any of the toxins or lessen the effect. Yeah, definitely. But again, it's not going to last long. We're nearly at these stages now, and yeah, within a year to two, we should be.
I can feel that so clearly.
Waters, yeah.
Yes. Okay. And then just curious, what is your tooth care routine? I appreciate you sharing that you did 8 months of just orange juice and no brushing. So thank you for experimenting and sharing with that with us. I was curious what your tooth care routine is now and what you might recommend maybe for transitioning.
Great. Depends on what you're looking to do. If you're looking to whiten your teeth, I would do like 4 days with lemon and bicarb, and put lemon in a pot, squeeze a nice amount of lemon in, and dip your toothbrush in there, and then scoop out a nice amount of bicarb. Brush this on the teeth, and then keep dipping the lemon as you brush. It'll create a nice foam, and it will really give a good clean and whiten to the teeth. And then moving forward, if you just look at a daily clean, I mean, you don't really need to daily clean as such. If you forget, it's absolutely fine because you're not consuming anything that causes rotting. You can just get a small amount of coconut oil, activated charcoal, and a tiny bit of bicarb, and make a paste. If you keep it in the fridge, it'll stay hard and solid, and then just bring it out when you clean your teeth, and just scoop it and keep cleaning with that, and that's absolutely fine. It's an amazing way to clean your teeth, to whiten your teeth, and to stay healthy. That's perfect.
Perfect. Thank you. Simple. And as far as sodium bicarbonate, do we need to be super cognizant on the source that we're getting? Because I mean, like in the States, Arm & Hammer is a common brand that's everywhere. And I always have this sneaky suspicion that that's very Babylonian, and I should probably avoid that particular brand. But I just wanted to know if you had any particular insight into sources of bicarbonate.
Yeah, sometimes they add aluminium, don't they, to these bicarbonate sources. So you have got to be in awareness of it. Try to find the label and see if it has any sort of aluminium free, which it always should be. It's E500, isn't it, as a chemical composition, but it shouldn't contain it. So be careful of the real Babylonian ones if they don't say that it's aluminium free. But again, if you buy it in bulk, just a search on eBay or something like this, you'll be able to find aluminium free sodium bicarbonate. Two different types. You have ultrafine, which is great for using as deodorant as such. Just put it under the armpit and there'll be no smell, for days and days and days. If you find the coarse one, that coarse one doesn't really go well with the body as such, because it creates micro scratches and causes a bit of discomfort. So I'd always go with the fine, ultra fine stuff, and then just find a source that says it's aluminium free, buy it in bulk. It's much cheaper. Use it for everything. You can use it as powder for feet. You can use it for washing your vegetables. You can use it for putting under your armpit. You can use it for cleaning your teeth. You can use it for cleaning your silver.
Perfect. Thank you. Another one, you mentioned apple seeds. How about orange seeds? Do we need to avoid those with as much caution, or is that not quite?
They're not quite the same. They don't contain high levels of arsenic such as the apple seed. But with the orange seeds, I always recommend just to use a citrus juicer. Are you put an orange through a masticated juicer?
Yeah, I ordered a citrus juicer, but we're having a lot of delivery delays in the US right now. So it has not arrived yet. So I'm having to use the masticating juicer. I'm hoping to get that soon, and then I won't have to worry about that. But I was just
Is it crushing the seeds down to too much of a pulp? Are you seeing them out at the end?
I mean, I'm picking out as many as I see evident without really digging into the fruit too much. But yes, it does crush the seeds if I miss them.
Yeah. All right. Well, just you're doing your best. It's not going to cause you any. Yeah. Over time, it may add to something if you're doing it, especially with apple. But for now, don't worry about it. The citrus juice is on the way, and keep enjoying your day, brother. Keep enjoying your day.
Perfect. Always do. And as far as exercising with juice, you've mentioned that's the best fuel for our muscles, and that makes so much sense. I was curious, since you've had a lot of experience bodybuilding and using juice in that process, what's your kind of recommended routine for drinking? Because if you drink too much, you're kind of full of liquid, and it might be uncomfortable to exercise. So do you have like a small juice and then you exercise, or do you wait till after you exercise to drink the juice? Or
all right, depending on the level of the body that you're trying to maintain, it all has really different aspects of ratios. If you're a big bodybuilder as such already, and you've got a vast amount of muscles that need these glycogen stores, and you're going into a real, let's say, heavy impact training, you would need to consume food before you go into the gym, and then I would have a juice while I was training to be able to keep topping up the glycogen stores within the muscle so they can maintain their highest capacity. And then I would feed after, again, as such, because you're trying to maintain or grow a certain size of muscle tissue. But for somebody that's just looking for a healthy body or a good structure, that doesn't want to be overweight, say a man is 6 foot looking to maintain a 13 stone body, something like that, just drink a small amount before you go in, 250, 300 ml, make sure you've got some stores there, and then take a juice in. Just like the modern day trainer, bodybuilder would take not a pre-workout drink, but they would take amino acids. If they knew what they were doing as such, they would drink amino acids during their training. Now,
perfect.
amino acids, obviously, in its real form, are within the fruit, not within this powder that's dead and then put into water. So you're going to have a live nutrients, glucose, amino acids. So this is the ultimate for the training capacity. And one who's doing a bodybuilding routine, if they can consume a certain amount of food, they're never going to lose any size, but they're also going to lose all this excess body fat, and they're going to be in a pristine show condition the whole time without having to diet down for these shows. So if they ever try to do this, they will be experiencing something so profound within that industry that it should catch on hopefully very soon.
Yeah, you would think so.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Wow.
And then you mentioned a recommended indica strain. Do you have a recommended sativa strain as well?
Try to stick with the more original lamprey strains. I think like a lemon haze or something such as that, or a Thai, like a Thai stick. Very simple, but again, if you're getting it from abroad, it's from Thailand as such, it's going to be not as it would if it was grown by yourself. So if you can get your hands on the seeds and you can grow a real Thai stick strain, you'll know that this has a completely different power than the imported ones as such. So yeah, like the lemon haze, very cerebral, very enhancing in that sense. But once someone has crossed the path, again, the tool for this this space, it doesn't work the same. So I think when someone's found the dimension of self, it's no longer needed, and it can actually cause a less of an effect to find that true self. So yeah.
Good to know. Well, thank you so much. So some rapid questions. I really appreciate answering them all, and look forward to next time speaking.
Good day, brother. Lovely to see you again. Thank you again.
Thank you, as always.
Take care, brother. Helen, would you like to
Put this creepy stuff in here.
What, hun?
But I hate to put this stuff in here.
Hi.
Good day, sister. How are you?
Hello. Hello. Lovely to be here. I've only just joined this group, but yeah, great. I mean, I can't believe 3 hours has just gone by sitting here listening to all of this. Most of my questions have been answered, I have to say, with all the wonderful conversations that have been going on. The only question I have left, and I'm sorry if it's already been answered in other kind of themes,
That's right.
is about supplements. I was recommended to have D3, vitamin D3 supplement, the oil, and a couple of other things, and I ignored it, but because you said that. But I just wanted to just confirm that you know everything we need we're getting from the fruit.
Yeah. I mean, the fruit itself was spent all day in the sun for months ripening in such a way that this has such a wonderful energy filled and full of this array of minerals within the body that you won't really be lacking anything. Now, sunlight itself is something that we should all be a part of, but you can get this through clouds and just being outside. So we've had houses created for a certain way of properties or properties, and we should be outside. So if we're not, just try to find 15 minutes again outside with the soil and the sun light, not necessarily the sun if your clouds have been seeded, and put there as a big blanket for you just to see.
We've had the rain coming in horizontally all day today.
Wow.
Here in West Dorset.
You don't need to worry about things like that, you know. And again, from a synthetic mineral or supplement, it's not absorbable by your body. It floats around in the bloodstream. It can be tested. The doctors can say your levels have become high and you're doing well, but it's not something that your body has bioavailable, and it causes toxicity. So it's not something I would ever recommend. No.
Right, brilliant. And the other thing I wanted to ask was about taking in oil with food. Is that just, we don't need that either?
No, again, like the whole foods itself have a balance of food, so it can be digested. If you start to separate them as such and increase the volume of oil, it's taken out of its natural state, thus creating acidity for the body to try and digest. Now, our primary source is glucose. Make this oil into glucose is not going to be of any benefit to our body as such at all. No. it will not serve us in any way, shape, or form. It will give us dents, headaches, things like this,
Yeah.
if you can feel them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Okay.
Is that everything?
Yeah, it is. Thank you.
Well, wonderful to meet you.
Thanks for
Thank you
having
so
me.
much for your
Thank you,
support,
yeah.
and thank you for being here.
Mm.
Is there anybody else who would like to ask a question? I can see Silvana G. Go ahead, sister.
Thank you. Hi, Josh.
Good day to you, sister.
Good day. Just quickly, is it okay to use the sauna? You talk about heat and things like that. Sauna's all right?
They're very good. Yeah, they're very good. I would definitely enjoy a sauna every night if you can. Followed by
Yes.
followed by a cold shower to close up the skin.
Perfect. Perfect. Good. Nuts. Is that all right? Nuts afterwards, once we finish our fasting, turning it into butter and
Yeah, I mean, it depends on where you are coming from previously. So when you reintroduce nuts into your diet, you're probably going to feel what they do to your system, and it's going to make you feel a certain way. And you won't necessarily like the feeling you get straight away, but if you continue to consume it as a part of a lifestyle, you'll naturally balance to the nut. I don't consume nuts because if I consume nuts for 2 days, not all day. Obviously, I just made a cake out of nuts, and then I made another one out of nuts. My lymphatic system would swell up, and I would feel as if I was getting tonsillitis as such. So that's how your body knows that this fuel you're putting in is not necessarily something you will acclimatize to it if this is a choice of lifestyle, but it's not optimum for the body. Nuts or seeds as such, they're to make trees. There's so much life force. But if you are consuming nuts and you want to consume nuts, soak them for at least 4 hours. And this basically changes the structure and allows digestive enzymes to kind of be there so it can be easily absorbed or better for the digestion. But yeah, I think, it's definitely great for a transition. And if you're not ready to go fully raw into a non-nut way and predominantly fruit, then it's going to be great. You can make so many great things out of nuts.
cool. Thank you. Again, about your book. I know you got the one book that's coming out. I don't know. Is it available for all of us or?
The food one?
Yes.
Yes, it should have been sent out. If you don't have it, then it will be sent to you. I'll get it sent to you.
Okay. Do you have an etymology book? Something that we can just flick through the pages and figure it out?
I don't have it yet. It's something that's so vast that what we're doing now is we're going to create like a mini series of etymology. So it's going to help people see that relationship with words and letters themselves. And then the book will come into fruition. But for now, I felt like it was a very important thing to create this website where it can be for people just to move away from platforms, government platforms, and we can have this group where we can just link each other up and let's really try to become a community where we can work together and find each other and manifest what we truly desire, or not desire, that's a bad word choice, what we need
Yeah.
to progress.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you. Just other things quickly. I use a filter for my shower. I've got a filter in my water system so I can just get clean and shower like that.
Nice.
Maybe a filter for now just might work.
Yeah, I mean, that's good. And they do even the shower heads with copper and carbon and certain elements inside them that do help purify the water as such and restructure it. These things are helpful, very helpful.
Temporary until the big change happens.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Until
And
the
see, yes. I'm just being as quick as possible for everybody. You were talking about planting your own cannabis and that. Like, I don't have any, but I've got some good information. Putting seed in your mouth and let it germinate. I'm pretty simple with my language, but germinate and it'll pick up on everything that your own body needs, that when you then plant it, and you can have that
Yeah.
specifically
Yeah.
designed for you.
It picks up on the certain deficiencies within the body. Yeah, that's a great way, and this is where we would all go, you know, in these communities that we should have. We don't want to be just placed in a place where we just all get on each other's feet. We need our own space, our own half an acre to an acre, where people can have their own garden, have these things for themselves. For those specific medicines, specific foods are going to create specific needs for the individual, and there is a relationship between us and seeds. There's a relationship with us in every part of this whole creation, and we are becoming receptive to this and sensitive, and life is just beginning for us all. It's just beginning.
And that's it. Thank you so much for your time, your patience, everything. Thank you. I love you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
Great to see you, sister. Thank you. Thank you. Did you want to ask anything, Dietrich, today?
Actually, yes, if there's time, that would be great.
Yes. Please.
Great. So I wanted to ask, so I mean, I've told you that I've kind of got fibroids and they're shrinking. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I think it was Charlotte that mentioned about the cannabis, and I was wondering the endocrine system, and I was wondering how I've never taken that, so I've never tried to use it, and I wondered, would that be helpful to me, or you know, if someone else who has fibroids, would that be helpful or not, or yeah, what to do?
I think in any healing mechanism, the purpose of the imbalance caused in our body from how these things have happened, it will regulate everything. And the endocannabinoid system within our body regulates homeostasis massively. And if that's out of balance, the external cannabinoids we can put in can create an environment that allows healing to happen in such a rapid rate. So again, it connects all these neurons and it allows these pathways to be able to communicate in such a way that they're firing on all cylinders as such. Very beneficial if you can get your hands on something. It's definitely worth utilizing it as a healing modality. 100%. I mean, just the people who've had brain cancer that don't change their diet, you know, in such a heavy way where they've been told they've got weeks to live, they just start taking mega dosing cannabis and they're fine.
Okay, so I know nothing about it. So what would you recommend I take or look for, and how would I take it once I found it?
I would recommend always looking for the oil as such. So it would be like a crude oil, like a RSO is called. Rick Simpson oil. He's got a wonderful documentary called Run from the Cure. And he was basically one of the innovators back in the day that got it mainstream. And then if you just try to research the endocannabinoid system, you'll see how it regulates homeostasis with every function, every system in the body. But yeah, always look for an indica oil. Try to get something that's predominantly indica. And what you have access to, I mean, we can help you. You can just send us an email or something or a message here. And if you can get access, just say the names and I can give you what is or what would be best for you. But hopefully, all in all, the plant in its holistic form as an oil is going to give you a great aid in healing any ailment that you have.
Okay, great. And also, I think Charlotte mentioned something about on the water fast about being able to have a tea, because I started my water fast yesterday, and I didn't realize we couldn't have lemons, so I have been having some lemon in the water. I also wanted to ask, apart from what was the tea we could have, what is the effect of having the lemon that is not good? Because I have had it, so I won't now. But
it's not good. Okay. It's just the fact that you're still containing the fruit. Now, when you go into the water modality without any of the fruit, you literally dump so much excess minerals and sodium or water within the body that's causing inflammation that it really serves a great purpose in healing, especially with heart problems and these types of things. So if you're not wholly on the water as such, allowing the body to minerals, it's kind of just like a little bit of a juicy water fast as such.
Okay. All right. So, the other thing I also happened yesterday, which actually got me to squeeze some lemon, was like about I was fine. I managed, it was a bit weird, but like I managed my head symptoms, and I was observing myself, like you said, I think, to someone earlier, and I was like, I can do this. This is just, you know, changing my mindset. I'm changing all this stuff that, you know, I've heard. I started to feel really lightheaded, and it was like I couldn't feel my feet like I would normally feel my feet. And so I went outside to ground, and while I was grounding, it was great. I felt, you know, like the energy came back down. But then as soon as I kind of came in, within 10-15 minutes, I was like, again, it was like my energy went like completely like this, rather than kind of feeling, you know, and that's what I'm not used to, feeling like that. I mean, long time ago, my childhood or like early 20s, I was, but then I found a way of being here, kind of thing. So yeah, and that's what kind of made me feel like, well, maybe if I put some lemon in it, I'll be back in my body and completely, if that, you know, if you know what I mean, like I'll feel my feet, and it kind of worked.
Yeah. Yeah. I just listen to yourself. If you're looking to heal yourself in that way, then you can do the water fasting with no problem. You may have these experiences just previously to what you've eaten, particularly, or juiced the day before. They can create like a spike or an insulin spike, like the watermelon does. If you've consumed any melon in the last
I had apples and cucumbers. Yeah, apples and cucumbers and lemons. That's what I've had pretty much all the way through, apart from pears a couple of times.
Okay. Well, the body naturally has cycles as well, and sometimes the body's cycling will tell you need to eat because of the natural dynamics of the system. If you wait, you just sit there, you'll go through that cycle, and then you'll find that you've come out the other side. But again, it's very difficult because you just this stage, you just really need to kind of listen to yourself and find that time to be able to learn to what's happening within your system. But you won't have any issues doing the water fasting. It's 100% safe. 40 days is, you know, something that's been tried and tested time and time again, and that is not going to cause any issues for your system apart from really just flushing everything out. But you know, get hold of it on a day-to-day basis if you want, and if you feel like you need that support there, just message us and we'll find a way that we can instantly chat.
Okay, so the lightheadedness is the light, or you know, the not feeling grounded. That's just like, it's like just like a wave, and I will go through it. Just like the thing to shift from water, you know, to fruit was. It's another thing like that. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you'll have a rapid drop in blood pressure when you go to a water fast as such, but then the body's going to find its homeostasis. You'll naturally have a lower heart rate and all these things within your body, and you'll just start to function, let's say, more efficiently. So there's less systematic function happening inside of you. So there are changes and subtle changes, and because you're more sensitive now, you're having this receptivity to what's going on. So just learn this physiology, because obviously you're growing now at such a rate. It's wonderful.
Okay, fabulous. Thank you so much. And thank you for everything that you do, and your family and the whole extended family. It's like having everybody just helps so much, you know, and thank you so much for being there.
Well, one day I hope we can all share wonderful fruit together in a wonderful way. It's a 300-seated table.
Absolutely, I love that. And I'm on my way to Portugal as well, as soon as one can be. So, yes.
Love and light to you. Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Is there anybody who I have missed? And if I have, please speak now.
Hey, Josh, it's Aaron.
Good day, Aaron. How are you, brother?
I'm doing well. Thank you for putting the hours on this Zoom call. We're in it, I think, over 3 hours, so I'll make this as brief as I can. And everybody's questions and input has been beautiful. And I love hearing everybody's growth and their stories and their journey. It's awesome. So I'm glad to be a part of this. My question to you is surrounding my path. I want to do, I feel that I am going to detox, something I've been carrying with things, you know, allergies, lymphatic system, nothing bad, but just subtle things. And now I feel these areas clean up, especially my lymphatic system. I've always had pressure in my ears. You know, all the glands are usually pretty swollen. And that's been my biggest notice lately, is that those toxins finally coming out. And, you know, we're only about halfway through. So I want to extend this as long as I possibly can, just to go down to basically what I'm calling zero, so I could build back up. And I'm feeling good when I go into an air and water fast. My question is, I do live on 5 acres. I'm very fortunate to have my garden and away from the city. I am on well water. So going to a water fast on well water, is the minerals pulling things out at that point? Because I am using, you know, I'm juicing from I'm using the juice from the oranges. And if I'm going to go into water, it's going to be less of a purified consumption of of water, consumption. So what's your what are you thinking about that? Should I wait until I get my distiller, or just go strictly air? Because, man, I feel amazing. When I did my 2-day air fast last weekend, had a couple glasses of water just to kind of push those hunger pains away, and then a lot of breath work. And I feel amazing. So what's your input? And we could always do this personally if it's getting a little long as well. So
that's absolutely fine. But with the well water, again, an analysis would be needed to really check the ppm or the parts per million, and they're quite simple to see. If you could buy a parts per million test and see if you can get it ordered within a few days, see how many parts per million there are of these particulates around, and then you can see if the water sort of got some memory left to be able to go in the system without dropping off additional minerals rather than collecting them. Have you got an order? Have you got an order on with the distiller, or? Brother? Are you?
Oh no. Yeah, I got cut off. I'm back.
Oh, that's all right. Did you hear, or did you miss?
I lost signal. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. If you can get yourself a ppm parts per million little detector online, then you can see sort of how much space would be available within that water to see if it carries a certain level of memory to be able to clear the system without dropping off any excess minerals. Obviously, I do just recommend that the purification of distilled water is going to do the best for you. But again, abstaining from the fruit juice is going to add to the healing, especially with the well water. So I wouldn't be too over focusing on the distilled water at this time. Drink from your own well as such. It's a good source of water, and it's definitely going to take you to a heightened level of healing. So please, I would definitely do that. If you want to just do a 72-hour water fast, that's a kind of full cycle of regeneration. If you feel like you need further healing, you're safe to do up to 40 days. So if you've got to challenge yourself, give yourself a marker. But it sounds to me like the system's finally, healing itself. So maybe I'd say a 10-day water fast, if you can do that where you're at, and really embrace nature, grounding, breath work, and then just try to feel the physiology and the movement of prana within your breathing as you are in nature, and see if you can just put it to every aspect, hold that prana, put it to a section within the body. And then once you can learn to direct this prana, direct it to where you feel like you need this healing. That energy that goes there will aid in your healing, and also the perception that you have over the autonomous system that normally functions without your awareness, and grow that at this time.
Beautiful. That is making so much sense now, where I have been, and now I guess I have the words to, been focusing on the prana, where my body has been adjusting from the weight loss. Never really too heavy, but carried around some baggage. And I feel my body readjusting. And I have been doing that, where I've been noticing with intent, breathing, and thinking about that area, I'll actually feel the pain relieve as long as I'm concentrating and pushing all that, I guess you would say, my, I just refer to as energy into that, that pinpoint, and started to kind of dissolve away a little bit. So I'm super excited to get back to my body. I think I've done my, through the schooling and the food have blocked my inner being from what it is. So super excited to get this reset and start up again, man. I'm so tired of this. So I'm super excited. So God, I'm so blessed to be with you guys, and thank you for your time and all your life, your dedicated life that you chose to walk down is a blessing for all of us. We're all realizing that now. You realized it forever. So thank you for bringing that forth and taking the courage and dedication that you have from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Brother Aaron. Well, it's an absolute pleasure to be with your energy, and thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Love to. Is there anybody else who
Absolutely.
And if you would like to say it now. And Scott?
Hey, Josh. Sorry I missed you before.
Oh, that's all right, brother. No problem. Welcome.
I know you hit on the kombucha last week. It's just kind of like neutral. It's not really positive or negative. And I home brew, so I was wondering if I did it with distilled water and then, added the fruit juice right before I drink it.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's just part of your own experience here. And if it sits with you well, and it's not causing you any inflammation or bloating or things like this at this current period, then I would definitely just utilize, if it's a part of your experience and you want to go through it. It's not going to cause you any serious problems at any time of the day. It's still something you're doing with your love, with whole food, and you're just making this happen for yourself. I just don't utilize it for my own experience, and I never have, so I can't speak too much on it. But just as a part of nature being there for you and for minerals, and it's just a natural flow of energy. So, yeah, you don't need to think too much.
Okay. And then with the mono juicing, can you use I haven't heard anybody mention anything about grapefruits.
Grapefruits are like a hybrid fruit, and the way that they're structured, they can cause some physiology problems and inflammation if someone is chronically ill or has chronic inflammation. Not recommended for somebody that's on a healing path as such, trying to heal from chronic disease, because it can bring the inflammation up again. That may start up or flare certain symptoms. But if somebody has no chronic disease and they want to enjoy some tartness, then it's fine.
Okay. Will it interfere with candida?
No. Okay. It causes inflammation as such in certain people, a response. But again, the candidas, if you remember that candida is there to really eat dead matter, sweep up the dead matter, then no, it won't.
And then the one other thing would be the colloidal silver, your opinion on that externally and internally.
My experience with colloidal silver has never been a true wonderful healing modality. It's definitely something that you can try, but know that everything that you really truly need is going to be found within the way that you consume your lifestyle. Fruit heals, fasting heals. Fasting is an incredible way to really heal the body. But most people can heal all their ailments from just going from a standard diet to just a whole food, even cooked diet. So as we progress through that, depending on the level of our illness, disease, or we will find that path that's truly right for us, and all paths will lead to fruit if one's sensitive enough.
Okay. Last thing, the recipe book that should be in our emails. Okay.
It should be, yeah. If it's not, just send me a reminder, and I'll make sure that you do get one, brother.
Okay, great. Thanks for all your help.
Absolutely. Have a wonderful day. Nice to see you.
You too.
Take care. Is there anybody else? I see a hand up on Lisa. Is that purposeful? And would you like to ask a question? No. Okay, so everybody, it's been an absolute pleasure to spend this time with you all. Hang on, Charlotte, did you want to ask something else? I see a hand up. Is no? Okay, beautiful. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure to spend this time with you all. Thank you for making this conversation live, real, and full of great information. Have a wonderful
We love
day.
you, Josh.
We love you.
Take care, everyone.
We love you, Josh.
Thank you. Much love to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
everyone.
Namaste.
Stay connected, and stay improving, stay progressing, and we'll all find this.
Love you all.
Love you all.
Mahalo, love and light.
You, Charlotte.
You tribe.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys. I'll
Bye.
post this one up very soon, okay?
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you.
Love and light.